Welcome to Rasslin with Racism, where we wrestle with racism every single day of our lives. If you are an American Negro and you are not subscribed to Rasslin with Racism, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they're a wrestling fan or not. You may also find Rasslin with Racism on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Spotify, and at Noncrackers at Al on Twitter X, where you can find more white truths. Also, if you are an American Negro and an American Negro only, feel free to comment below, letting us know how you feel about this particular Rasslin with Racism throwback and Rasslin with Racism as a program overall. American Negroes and American Negroes only, please. On this throwback edition of Rasslin with Racism, this was a major episode for Rasslin with Racism as it opened the eyes to many American Negroes that were not aware that Triple H is indeed an anti-black, racist, white supremacist, flexing white supremacy all over the WWE. This night was WWE Bad Blood, featuring not a single American Negro wrestling on the entire program. As a matter of fact, the WWE made it a point to bring out an HBCU band for the then white WWE champion, Cody Rhodes, who is a racist himself, a white supremacist himself, and relegated women such as Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill to act as hosts in Atlanta, which is historically known as the most racist city in Georgia. The WWE also had no problem featuring rappers on this program, setting up for Sexy Red to appear at WWE NXT. We will touch on all of that in this discussion, but the main reason why I'm bringing this particular premiere on this day is because this is not even a month after WWE WrestleMania. We are at WWE Backlash 2025. You will notice that there is absolutely no change on that night to this night. To go back to that night, that was the particular night that Triple H said that he does not see color. He does not see American Negro wrestlers as talented wrestlers. You will hear our live reaction to that. But the conversation was so important with everything that we were talking about that actually flew over our heads. But as we look at reality today, we see exactly where American Negro wrestlers stand today. It shows that Triple H meant exactly what he said when he said that he doesn't see color. Right here in 2025, American Negroes are facing erasure in professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is a sport in which American Negroes excel in. Professional wrestling is also a fake, scripted sport. We are the most talented, the most charismatic, the most entertaining, and the most athletic group of people in the world. Yet, we cannot be presented as such in a fake, scripted sport. This is part one of a two-part throwback featuring an American Negro discussion, everything race-related in the history of professional wrestling. This is a very important episode that all American Negroes must tune into. Realize that it's 2025 and these things are still going on. We must revise our method in order to progress toward the future. Rasslin with Racism will return with our mid-season premiere on May 17th, 2025. In the meantime, the summer is beginning to heat up, and white folk are feeling like their backs are up against the wall. And when they feel like their backs are up against the wall, white folk become heavily violent toward American Negroes. With that being said, protect yourselves as an individual and protect one another. Balance. Our answer. Stated plainly.
We are one. That's right from the very start. Undeniable in your heart. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. All right. Yeah. Brother Sig on the keyboards, y'all. Never mind. Come to
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, talking is cheap. But we can't all condemn the white man. There's something we got to do. The white man is doomed, but we got to help him on his way. And I don't mean in the jest of hate. I mean according to the plan of divine providence. He that has been up a long time must come down. He that's been down a long time must rise.
If you are an American Negro and an American Negro only, subscribe to Rasslin with Racism on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, and at non-Practice.out, Twitter X, for more white truths.
They're living just enough for the city. My brother is smart. He's got more sense than me there. His patience is long, but soon we won't have any. 'Cause to find a job is like a haystack needle. Was where he lives. They don't use colored people. They're living just for the city.
And now, our feature presentation.
Yes.
This HBK, and I appreciate y'all holding the space. This is my first time talking to any of you, I believe. But if you could just give me a quick second. First of all, I see about 5 people in this space, and if y'all could, I'm gonna ask just 3 quick questions. Anybody that's been watching for the last decade, can you raise your hand? I just want to do
Yeah.
something real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
virtually.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Or really, you know what? To be honest with you, since there's only 5 of us, if everybody could say how long they've been watching, exactly, that'll help me make my point real quick. So
I,
Since
I'm
'95.
Watching what?
36.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
36, so I've been watching like I can remember my first memories of watching wrestling was like 1994. It was Undertaker against Yokozuna casket match, Royal Rumble.
I was 98 WCW and 99 WWF.
I was
Okay.
2009 WWE. I think it was the lead up to WrestleMania 25. I think.
It was 2010.
Oh, I was kind of
Basically,
mid.
Shawn Michaels versus HBK, the second.
When you say mid, what year specifically?
No, you just said 2009. I was like, yeah, that year was kind of mid.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, that's when I
No,
first started
it's
at
a
the
reason
time. Yeah.
why I'm asking
Same.
every single person this question. So I want to go to the 36-year-old because I'm 36 years old myself, and I've been watching since 1998. But I fell in love with wrestling so quickly that I went back into history, before YouTube and all that stuff, and kind of found some good footage. And my knowledge could go back to the 80s, 70s, 60s, 40s, 30s. That's
Yes.
where I'm at with it. So I'm looking at the business overall. And the reason I asked this particular question is because you do get people that have watched in different eras. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So in this space, and I believe it was six Rikic. What do you prefer to be called?
No, that's the Raikage. It's a Naruto reference.
Rakage.
But you could call me JHM. That's what I go by most.
JHM. I'm
Yes.
gonna call you J.
Bro, you already know the Raikage would fuck you up, guy. The real
look, look,
Raikage would fuck you up. And
look,
his
it's
son, too,
Saturday.
will
I done
fuck
had
you
me a
up.
couple. It's Saturday. I done had me a couple on. I'm blowing right now, so I'm gonna just call
Bro,
you
I'm
Jay.
on three doubles, bro. What you talking about?
You know what time it is then. So, my thing is, we've been watching for about the same amount of time, and we possibly have the same amount of knowledge, and we've been through multitudes of the changes of the business if you've been watching consistently. So,
Yeah.
my question is generally to everybody: what do you consider a good match, or what do you consider a good show? Because when I first started watching, and I'm talking about as a child, and I want everybody to remember when I say as a child, you have to remember at the end of the day, professional wrestling is technically supposed to be geared towards children. And this is after the 80s. But for some reason, I can't let it go. Maybe you all can't let it go. Everybody been watching over a decade in here. We all can't let it go. So what do we expect? Because when I first started watching, it was the entire show that gravitated me. So if it was Kaientai that started the show, and if it was Stone Cold Steve Austin that ended the show, it was everything that intrigued me. You
I don't
understand
think
what I'm saying?
I don't think Kai ever started the show, but okay.
No, I get what I'm just using that as an example so
We
you
use
could
example.
see where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
It's different multitudes of the show because I could tell you that my favorite wrestler of all time could be Brad Armstrong, and a lot of people would look at me like I'm crazy. But Brad
Bro, I
Armstrong,
think
if
like
you actually
80% of the
pay
wrestling
attention to
universe
his
in today's
matches,
age wouldn't know
Brad
who
Armstrong
Brad
have
Pitt
no
was.
different abilities than Cody Rhodes, who is the WWE champion right now.
They could be the equivalent, yeah, but I mean, it's just how they position, bro. Like Brad
Yeah.
Armstrong was always that constant worker, and like he was never like viewed above mid upper
If
mid
you
card,
if
bro.
you listen to old school wrestlers that talk about Brad Armstrong, they say if Brad Armstrong had the personality in the ring that he had in the back, he would have been multiple
Yeah,
time like world champion type of guy.
that's
But
how
that
I
was
know you
also, bro.
old
But that
school.
was also that
That's how I know
time,
you
bro. In the
old school. You
'80s,
right
like
about that.
you were not allowed to exude that unless you were premier or like you were the Booker's favorite, bro. You were not allowed to exude that. So Brad Armstrong, as
Well,
much
I
as
want to
an
take y'all a
incredible
different
worker he was,
direction.
bro, I don't think he would have especially in that roster back in like the '80s NWA Jim Crockett. I don't think he would have gone over in that degree compared to like some of the talents that they had, especially with all the trading and mismatches that they had with between WWF and WCW or Jim Crockett at the time, bro.
I want to take y'all to a different level of thinking right quick.
All right, but
Since
let
y'all
me answer
since
your question. Let me answer your question though. You said, what do you consider a good match and a good show?
yes.
All right, so I'm a kind of answer this question. I always go down to the crowd. How's the crowd reacting? Because
Hmm.
I could watch something and I might not personally like it, but if the crowd
So every Will Ospreay
is
match you ever watched, bro, you hate it, but all the crowds love it.
no, I no,
I
I
knew he
never,
was supposed to
no,
speak
no,
up.
no, 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 no. I never said I hated every. I like Will Ospreay's matches when he's in the ring with someone like a MJF or Brian Danielson, somebody where they can like rein him in
Hey,
and not
Cody,
do all that
Yeah.
flippy shit all the time. Now, when he's in the ring with someone like Swerve and Ray Phoenix and
Bro,
Ricochet
I
and
was
people,
live for the Swerve match, and that
I said,
was top
if it was
10
a
best
Ricochet
matches I
match,
ever
I'm
saw.
not
Can
curious.
I give y'all
I was
some
live for that one.
introspective real quick?
yeah,
Let me just give you some introspective real quick. And this is just me as a longtime fan, and when I really fell into my groove of a fan. I
okay,
don't give a fuck if Jeff Hardy or Matt Hardy faced Crash Holly or fucking The Undertaker. I was invested into what they did every single week that they performed. And they
okay,
didn't have to have a 5-star match. I didn't have to rate their match. I didn't have to care if it was, I didn't care if they botched or whatnot. I was invested into their match. And I think that's where wrestling fans got things
yes.
twisted. One,
You
I
invested
believe that
into the character.
there was invested into the character, exactly what it is. They are invested into the character. Suspension of disbelief is what they call it. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Dreamer is probably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time to a certain percentage of people. But if
Yes.
you sit down and
Very low.
analyze and look at his matches, it was fucking trash. You understand what I'm saying? But how
Yeah.
did these people feel like he's one of their favorites?
I've
Because
never once heard Tommy Dreamer is the greatest wrestler of all time ever.
But
it's
the
a
past,
percentage. It's a percentage of people. It's a
it's a
percentage
lot
of
of
people.
Tommy.
Introduce me to one
I
because I've
can
never
watch.
heard
I
of
can
one,
watch.
No,
bro.
people love
I can
ECW
watch.
fans
Listen, I'm
love
not.
Bro,
Tommy
even
Dreamer,
bro,
bro.
I'm into deathmatch shit, and I've never once heard a deathmatch wrestler say Tommy Dreamer is the best wrestler ever, bro.
Well, no, wait a
Ever.
minute. Wait, whoa. You got to know that I over accentuated that a little bit, but I'm more invested into watching towards Tommy Dreamer, progression, storylines, or whatever, than I am to Will Ospreay. I'm more invested into seeing what Tommy Dreamer is doing week after week than I am to Will Ospreay, and
Have you
that's
heard
why
Will Ospreay
that's why I'm
promo,
kind of mixing
bro?
things up.
Will Ospreay's promo is better than like 70% of like the world,
But what
even
is his
if
story?
it's
But
flawed.
my question is, what is his story? His promo could be great. I could sit up here and talk shit all goddamn day and you'll be invested into it. But what story am I really telling that's
Tell
going
him,
to keep
yes,
me? Go ahead.
yes, yeah. I agree
So
with what you
my
said.
thing is, for the fact that I'm 36 years old, right? And I've probably been following Tommy Dreamer since I was 8 or 9. For the fact that I can name more things today, for the more things in Tommy Dreamer's career than I can even care to remember about a Will Ospreay over the last 12 months, should show you.
But it depends on how much you're willing to invest in it, bro. Like, so I'm
Well,
the
that's what
opposite.
that's.
I've been literally watching Will Ospreay since I first started watching New Japan. He was the
Hmm.
literal first match that I ever saw in New Japan. I literally bought New Japan World on a whim because my friends talked about New Japan, New Japan, New Japan, New Japan, New Japan. All right, bet. So in 2017, bro, I bought New Japan World. I saw my very first New Japan match ever was him versus Kushida in the Best of Super Junior finals, and I was like, this is eons better than anything I'd ever seen in WWE, bro. Outside of like John Cena and AJ Styles that happened like maybe 2 or 3 years later. But guess what? AJ came from the Indies, AJ came from TNA, AJ came from New Japan. And
Hmm.
that's what shaped a lot of my views of like, okay, if you made it in New Japan, you're gonna make it in wrestling because New Japan is like premier absolute the top of the top, bro. Above WWE, above AEW before AEW started buying all the fucking New Japan talent that was worth the shit out. Like that's what it was, bro. So I mean,
Well,
it
no,
varies
no,
from that
that's
peak.
that's that's why I ask you. That's why I ask people. What do you look for within a show? So overall, as a show, do you believe that New Japan is the best Ultimate Pro Wrestling program out there right now?
Since TK came in, no. Before TK came in, yes.
So TK destroyed New Japan to you.
He has put a hand in putting New Japan in a lesser position than what they were prior to his existence.
So
100%,
Yeah.
yes.
okay, so how familiar is everybody as far as just indie wrestling? Do you go to your indie shows
I go to
periodically in the
GCW. I
States?
have a local indie here in Orlando, Florida that I go to every so often. Yes, sir.
Okay,
From my
so
perspective.
do you view, Tony, do you believe that AEW is meant to be presented once a month, every couple of months? As far as like, do you think that, how can they keep people interested week after week after week? And I'm going to move on to the WWE in a minute, but how do you believe that they can keep people invested week after week instead of just looking forward to a month of, oh, we get to see Bryan
AEW
Danielson versus Will
You
Ospreay,
have to build a
to
story.
me,
like dream matches?
AEW is the premier indie company that happens to have premier television, and it is a negative connotation to what I just said, but there's still value in the industry for that, and so that's why I accept it as it is.
For it to be
But
presented the way that it is.
what do you mean?
Well, they're on TV weekly, and they have at least what 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours a week of
No one
programming
cares
a
about
week.
any of those other hours no more, bro, except for like the three that happen
What?
on Wednesday. That's really unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but that is reality. When it boils down to it, people only care about what happens on Wednesday because that is what's tantamount to that audience when it's all said and done. Like the audience, they
Yeah.
have their own audiences, but realistically speaking,
Well,
I'm not a casual by any stretch of the imagination, but I do not watch Rampage. I stopped watching Collision after Punk left. And so for me, like everything that happens on Wednesday is what's tantamount to the product because everything else is inconsequential. If anything of significance happens, it's always brought up either A, like in the show itself, or B, within the context of the Wednesday show that they're broadcasting from that
Now
perspective. So
let's move to the real world real quick. And I got you 100% what you said. Let's move to the real world real quick. How much of a factor do you believe that WWE have so much of a monopoly or a stranglehold over the business? Meaning this, when I go to work and I talk to my coworkers, they may have seen Bad Blood because they may notice that Roman Reigns is a little more mainstream or some shit like that.
I could perfectly answer you this question. I got a buddy that I tease. I said, "Hey, did you watch AEW last night?" And he said he always laughs. He said, "You know, I didn't watch that shit."
Is he
And,
aware of it?
I will
Is
tell
he
you
at
what
least
though.
aware of it?
no, he knows what AEW is, but I said, "Man, why you don't ever get AEW a chance, man?" He said, "Why I'm gonna waste my time watching a show with wrestlers I don't even know."
Hmm.
That's again, that's subjective. Like those are people that have no desire to delve into the business to that degree. If you're a real wrestling fan, even if you don't like the alternatives, you're still going to fuck around and find out.
Who
You're
said
still going
that?
to be
Who said
curious.
that? Ethan. Ethan.
Yeah.
Ethan. Okay, I'm glad that you said that. Right, real wrestling fan. And when you say real wrestling fan, you act like as people supposed to really know into this shit. When I became a wrestling fan, I got deep. Somehow I got deeply rooted into it. So I cared about what happened in the '80s before I cared to watch. I cared about what happened.
Same. That's why I still listen to Cornette. Yes, sir.
Right. So these newer fans don't have time for that shit. Now we talking about society as a whole. It's so much shit pumping out at you. It's so many great shows that's pumping at you that it seems like it's no different between what you see in wrestling and what you see on your series on Netflix or something like Power or something. You know what I'm saying?
Power. This motherfucker said power. Like anybody
Hey,
watches that shit. All 568 motherfuckers that watch Power. Okay.
it depends on where you at. It depends on where you at. I know people that watch Power, but my thing, but
Pray for them.
hope that you should understand the question. I hope that you should understand the point. My thing is this: people are automatically, when they think of wrestling, they automatically think of WWE, and when they think of
Sure.
WWE is prepared and ready to bring out stars. They ready to bring out better presentation. No matter if their matches is bad or not, their stories is interesting enough for you to follow through month after month after month.
Not all of them, but a lot of them. Sure, I understand your point. Go ahead.
To the average, you got to think average fan wise. You got to think casual, because casual is what was what produces the most money. So my point is this:
I get
what
that.
can AEW do to separate itself as a professional wrestling or sports entertainment, however they want to be classified? What can they do to separate themselves? They may obviously have to create their own audience, because piggybacking off the WWE audience has not worked for them. They're
But
not even
WWE, to
receiving.
me, I understand your point, bro. But like to me, WWE is all encapsulated. It is like if you think of the heavens, they are the heavens, right? For
Right.
everything else,
It's
what
like white
out what
supremacy.
so like that's
Go
fair.
ahead.
Nah, like, I mean, bro, to me, AEW does that already with it. The problem is that what they do to, like, it does not, like, translate. They do enough to be the alternative. However, the alternative is not enough to draw in the casual viewers, because the alternative is a lot more grotesque, a lot more violent, a lot more obscene from that perspective. And that's
Right.
the issue that it is at the end of the day. And
And
like
so,
realistically
okay,
speaking,
it's
like to
funny.
be the
I'm glad
alternative,
that you said that. I'm glad that you said that, because a majority of wrestling fans could sit up here and tell you today that ECW is better than WCW and WWF. At the same time, the majority of fans never knew that ECW actually even existed.
And they wasn't gonna let their kids watch that shit.
And
I mean, bro,
as an adult with children, I can understand how they get that. At the same time, when I was a child, I was craving to see that shit.
I
Yeah.
mean, bro, like at the end of the day, it's like it's everything has its place, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like for all the like, I enjoy like as an adult man, I enjoy seeing the grotesque stuff that happened. Like for example, in like All Out, like all the
Hmm.
stuff that happened with Swerve and Hangman. Like I thoroughly, absolutely, 1,000,000,000% enjoyed it and feel it has its place in WWE in the universe, I should say, in the wrestling universe. But
Yes.
in terms of a casual audience, it does not translate. But AEW's perspective, which has been their perspective the whole time, is just like that's fine and dandy because we're still making money. We still have the core audience. We still have our constant 550
But
to 750,000, and
all
it's still drawing us money.
right,
And
let
it
me. I don't mean
earns
to
its
cut
place
you
as a
off.
result.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm glad you
Good.
brought up money. Glad you brought up money.
Money is the key. Go ahead.
AEW used to have a casual audience though,
Hmm.
and
Barely.
no,
They
Barely.
had
Even
it
I
though.
would say
They
that.
had it.
Barely.
They had it
they were getting a million. They were getting a million viewers on Dynamite
weekly.
I
weekly.
don't think I don't think that was casual. I think that was WWE
No, no,
fans
no, no. He said
trying
they
to. I'm
had
gonna
that. No, no,
trying to
no.
find it.
He said they had their core base. They had their fans.
So we've established the core base, 550 to 750 on
You
average, right? That is a core base. The other 300, the 450,000 that encapsulates the million that they had gotten at the beginning.
that's
I
casual.
genuinely feel that I do not feel it was casual. I feel it was like
You
morbid
don't lose that many
curiosity from
fans
WWE fans.
Well, I believe you said it right. I believe it was curiosity. Now,
Morbid
curiosity,
curiosity.
it was curiosity, and AEW couldn't follow through, right?
Sure.
So at this point, what do they do to redeem not just regain an audience, but to move further than the audience that they have? Do my ultimate question is: do professional wrestling sell to the masses in modern day times?
WWE does. AEW, as
I,
much as I hate it, AEW will never sell to the masses. And
WCW came in with competition. WCW came in with competition, and they made WWF supersede further than they have in their entire existence. It was
but
competition that made them do that.
yeah.
I feel
And
like it's. I feel like it's the repeat of what it is, right? WWF was floundering when WCW flourished, and so from that piece, at the time that AEW became prominent, WWE was floundering. A lot of the core fan base was sick of it, and now that we have a new leader in WWE that will supersede those things, listen to the fans a lot more, and things of that nature, they've done the exact same thing where WWE has followed
Triple
through
H.
within their boundaries. They've done enough to be able to translate over to like said casual audience that AEW does not. However, I think it's been said in the past, and it's so true. As long as TK like wants to throw money in, they will not die. Unlike WCW,
Hmm.
so that's really what it boils down to. There will consistently, always, forever and ever be number two, and it will always appeal to the absolute core and the absolute like hardcore of the hardcore of wrestling fans. But nonetheless, they will still exist because of the fact that
Well,
they
how
will
long do
still
you
like
think?
the fan base
With
that
that being
WWE has.
said, how long do you believe that they will exist on that? With that,
Well,
what you just said.
can I interject with something real quick before you answer that? So the one thing that I was trying to say was that AEW, they just signed a new deal. It was like 170, 180, right?
185, yes sir.
All right. How much is that media rights deal if AEW still was getting that million per view? How much more is that media rights deal if they were still getting those million viewers every week?
300, 300 probably.
That that's what I'm saying. Like everybody keeps talking about, oh, you shouldn't talk about the ratings. They don't matter. They just got a new deal. But
Well,
y'all don't.
we
But
got
people
to
don't
look
Right.
at it
understand.
like this too. We got to
People
look at
don't.
it like this too, and we still don't know exactly where media and cable television is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now because it's in the transition mode. Who's to say that WBD is going to be in business by the time this deal ends?
That's why it's even more
What if they
important that
say
they
fuck
should
it?
have got more
Because
money.
if y'all going for AEW and you could tell like they haven't gone hard, well, what other do they have other original content that they're producing? You know what I'm saying? It may be that. My thing is AEW was holding on to a dying company. Okay, and if cable television is falling right now at a very rapid rate, it's going to be worse within 5 years. Where would AEW stand? You got WWE moving on to Netflix and Peacock and all this other different shit. They don't give a fuck about ratings. That's why I don't care about the ratings conversation.
But I
Somebody
feel
mentioned
like
money. I look at the money.
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I feel like because they have such an advantage, that's really what it boils down to. Like,
It's a
no
big
matter what,
advantage.
because they have the establishment, they will never be in jeopardy. There will never be any qualms. WWE is the absolute machine, the monopoly that will forever exist. No matter how bad the product, God forbid, the product ever gets, they will exist because they were first, and they've established enough of a baseline to be able to persevere through that,
So
and that's
But
really
the
what it
thing,
boils down
but the
to.
thing is, but, but they wasn't always first though.
Can I ask everybody this?
Yeah.
20 years from now, just think.
Sure.
Your kids might be in college, whatever, 20 years from now. Do you think that you would give a fuck about any match that the Young Bucks had previous to today?
I don't think they will.
How
No.
about
I mean,
Okada?
I've seen enough New Japan because I enjoy their New Japan stuff more than I have their AEW stuff, but that's
So
me.
I'm gonna tell you this. How about even? And I know it's a lot of Will Ospreay fans, and I'm not just talking about in AEW, but do you all think as wrestling evolve over the next 20 years that you would think or give a fuck about any match that Will Ospreay had before today?
I think yes, because if you ask the old time motherfuckers about like Ric Flair and stuff, they will remember Flair and Steamboat, Flair and Sting, Flair and
Yes.
Yeah.
Garvin, Flair and. So if you were a fan of Will Ospreay at that time, yeah, I think something will translate to that piece where you will remember that. Whether
So
it will be
you
prominent,
personally will put him in that category of a man that can stand the test of time.
don't know whether I would say the test of
Because
time, but for the
I could tell you what I mean by standing the test of time is I could tell you a match that Jeff Hardy had on Raw 2000 against Test.
and I can't. But there's a difference.
You
Jeff
probably
Hardy is
didn't
one of
watch
your
from there,
absolute
but I'm
favorites.
not. You probably didn't
So
watch from there. But the fact is, do you believe that a person who is a Will Ospreay fan who may have watched the match with him and Bryan Danielson will think of that match 20 or 30 years from now?
perhaps,
Thank you.
I would say it's like
Noted.
65 or 55-45. I would say 55-45. Yes.
I just wanted to see that. And I believe that the WWE is moving on to something. I got a vision today. I believe that the WWE is going to move on to something to where people are not going to have shelf lives like John Cena, Hulk Hogan, The Miz. People who've been in the industry for 20, 30, 40 years, I think we're going to see a big decline in that. Um, a major decline in that. Me being saying that right now, who do you think are the wrestlers besides beyond Roman Reigns today, or beyond Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes? Who are the new generation that's going to be remembered as? I would still view Stone Cold Steve Austin as the best wrestler in the world 30 years from now.
John Cena.
Today,
Uh,
no, I said beyond John Cena.
he talking about the new
I'm
generation
talking
guys,
about. I'm talking about
guys in
over
their
the last
20s.
decade. Beyond. I'm talking about beyond Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. So
That's to be
starting today,
determined now. That's
look
to
at
be
all
determined.
rosters. Look at all rosters, and starting today, below Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega and Okada and
So you talking about guys
MJF.
so the young generation that's like in their 20s who could be the next legends, right?
You can look at NXT. You can look at the lower card in Ring of Honor or whatever.
All
Who
Huh?
do
right,
you believe got potential to have?
MJF, and
I,
outside of that, to be determined.
MJF is still young, so you're right. Yeah, I will put
I think
MJF
MJF,
there.
MJ.
and to be determined.
I would say
That's
this.
I could
crazy.
say Braun Breaker.
I,
Brian
I
Breaker.
Braun Breaker.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right
Yeah.
now. I'm gonna
I
tell you
want to
right.
say Oba. I want to say Oba Femi,
That,
but it's to be determined how Triple H books him.
Wait a
that's what I
minute.
was.
Who said
Yeah.
that? Who
That's what
said
I was
that?
going.
Who said that? Who
Hey,
said
hey,
it?
no. He
Who
beat
said
me.
it?
He beat me. He beat me before I said it. But
Both of y'all can say it at the same time.
no. I'm gonna throw another name out there since we gonna go along that lines. Trick
Thank
Williams.
we. Thank you.
Trick Williams, yes, yes. But
Oh,
but
sir.
it just
How about Carmelo? How about Carmelo Hayes?
Yeah.
I don't
How about Angelo Dawkins?
I
no
I don't know about
no
Dog.
Montez
I love
Ford.
Dog, but no.
I meant to say
Montez
Montez
Ford,
Ford,
baby.
but
Montez Ford,
Montez
maybe.
Ford, yes.
Montez Ford, yeah.
and
Maybe
you know
Montez
what?
too.
I do
Yeah.
want to move it along that lines because I'm afraid. I'm gonna tell you
About
now. I
about
want to
how you
move it
gonna
along
book the
that
brother.
lines. I'm afraid. I'm afraid because one of my theories, my main thing is wrestling with racism. That's my thing, and I'm afraid because historically, can we have 5 or 6 or 10 Black American wrestlers successful at one time?
Not in fucking as long as this fucking world
We
exists.
never
Nah,
It
not in
had
won't.
this
it, so
world.
we're gonna
That
say
ain't
in
gonna
Realistically,
modern
happen.
day era.
yeah, for real.
So, with
One
that
day,
being said,
maybe not in your lifetime or my lifetime.
with that being said, you look at the fact that Carmelo Hayes is doing great right now. Eventually, Trick Williams is gonna have to come out of NXT. Eventually, Oba Femi is gonna have to come out of NXT. Eventually, Lash Legend is gonna have to come out of NXT.
Jada Parker.
Eventually, Wes Lee is gonna have
Hmm.
to come out of NXT.
Yeah.
Eventually, Jada Parker is gonna have to come out of NXT. What do y'all believe? And I'm talking to the Black Americans. What do y'all believe? How do you believe that one, the fans are going to take it? Because you can't deny that Obafemi is greater than Gunther, can or at least have the potential to be greater than Gunther. Okay, you
Okay.
can't say that Trick Williams don't. You can't say that Trick Williams. We talking about potential now. We talking about
Gunther, bro,
potential.
but Gunther's different. Gunther faced a lot of. He faced a lot of the guys that aren't in WWE.
Yeah,
Gunther
but
faced a
like,
lot, and
yeah,
Gunther.
I'm gonna call it like
but
When
I'm gonna
I'm
Gunther,
call it like
talking
it
about
is.
suspend your when I'm
but
talking when I speak of suspending your disbelief, when it come down to facing where you feel like your life is on the line and you got an easier path, which one are you gonna look at and say, hey? I think I got a better shot at beating this person, Gunther or Ubafemi. Obafemi.
Where are you talking? That you can't pull that into wrestling because of the fact that, like, depending on when that match
Hmm.
happens, if that happens 1 year from
Yeah.
now, I'm picking Gunther. If that match happens 4 years from now,
Who's
I'm
talking?
picking
Who
Ova.
said that? Ether? Who said that? Ether?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Ethan. Ethan, guess what? You just helped prove my point. It's based off of booking. I believe that Montez Ford don't have no difference than Cody Rhodes. Montez Ford could do exactly what Cody Rhodes could
I
do.
wouldn't
It's
disagree.
based
I would
off
not
of who
disagree.
Can
booked
I?
these
Can,
people. Thank you, Ethan. It's based off of who booked these people. And they're not putting the effort behind these people to make them be presented as
can I?
But
superheroes.
you know
Can
what?
I?
How
I
Can I
many
feel
chime
like
Black
in
if
on that?
you
Americans
if you
have
would
Can I
have
we
chime in on
put,
had?
that?
How many Black Americans have we
go ahead,
had
go ahead.
that's been booked
Whoever had
as
it, go
John
ahead,
Cena, Stone Cold Steve
go ahead.
Austin, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund? Nobody.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think of Montez Ford, they don't. He doesn't. Unfortunately, I love Montez, but he does not equate
Wrestling,
any of those people you
All
just
right.
wrestling,
Let me chime in on this real quick.
wrestling is a fake scripted sport, and nobody can deny that Black Americans is the most athletic, the most entertaining, the most charismatic people in the world. We talking about a 13%, because I'm not talking about Caribbeans, I'm not talking about Africans, I'm talking about
You're
Black
right.
Americans.
You're absolutely right.
We in entertainment, we have a stranglehold over everything. So why is it that we aren't presented as such in a fake scripted sport as
Okay, let me go with
professional
this.
wrestling?
When I again, it goes by booking. Triple H's booking. If we go back down the line when Vince was in
Hmm.
charge, Rakage would attest to this. Bianca Belair, she was on top. Correct?
You talking about
I'm
one?
just
You
I'm
just
just
name
saying.
one.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's what it was. But
You talking about throughout history now? Vince McMahon has a 60-year
Yeah.
stranglehold. Go
I
ahead.
know. I'm just saying, like, he had The Rock on top. Even Booker T got his time, but he wasn't perfect at it.
Hmm. Wait. What time did Booker T technically have? Because if you want to be technical, Booker T will sit up here and tell you that he's a five-time
That is correct.
WCW champion. I guarantee you, with the exception of the time that WCW went out of business and shit, Booker T held that title less than
True,
two
true.
months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that five-time shit don't mean nothing to me. There's no
I'm not
substance
accounting.
behind
I'm not
anything.
account.
So let's get to the let's let we gonna when I do this, I get to
Oh,
the
you get it.
specifics
You're
about
right.
it. And Ethan, if that's you talk or a white, if it's a white talking, I guarantee you, I
I'm
believe
a
that you
brother, man.
shouldn't talk. I believe I'm
I'm a
talking to
Black
the Black
American, brother.
Americans and Jay. Okay, cool, count. All right, you
Okay.
can continue then.
So like, the way I'm going off of, on this is that like it is like the way NXT is run. I would trust my booking if
Hmm.
HBK was on the main roster. I would trust his booking more than I would trust Triple H's booking when it comes to booking Black Americans. Like it just is what it is. Just that's the way it looks.
Well, I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you said that. And just to take it out the racial aspect for a second. Just take it out the racial aspect for a second. I'm glad that you said that about HBK because I don't think that HBK is necessarily looking at color. I think that he's recognizing the natural talent that
Fair.
he has. HBK has more of a wrestling mind. And in essence, Black Americans are more charismatic and athletic than most, and that's why they're being featured better. And I believe that Triple H should go down to eight. And I'm not talking about from a racial aspect. I'm just talking about completely because I believe that Triple H booking is just skating by. You know
Fair.
what I'm saying? In essence, this bloodline shit should have been done with and over. And what would you do with the blood? What would you do with the WWE if the bloodline stopped what they was doing? What would the state of the WWE be then? Triple H, I don't believe have any true creativity. And I believe that if HBK, Shawn Michaels, do have the creativity in NXT is the best wrestling program on television right now. Minute to minute.
Yeah. I can. Yeah. It's the most creative for sure, and it's the most like
So I do believe that HBK is more of a wrestling mind and he should be
the head booker.
creatively writing the main roster. And I do believe that it wouldn't just be a fair. I don't think that it'll be a color thing. I think it'll be a fair thing. Black Americans are more entertaining. I do need Trick Williams on SmackDown. I do need Wesley on Raw. You know what I'm saying? I do need Oba Femi on Raw. I do need Oba Femi as my world champion.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, Oba Femi said what they call in this generation an anti-sexist thing. Women should stay in their place. Hey, that's Nigeria culture. We can't dispute that. But hey, people got offended by that. That shit will work more than whatever anything Gunther could say as a world champion.
Yeah, you're right. I like.
If I'm moving too fast, please tell me.
Yeah,
I
but I
hope
mean, you
that
know,
everybody
I
understand
will
what I'm
say,
coming from.
But I ain't gonna lie. I like Gunther. I think Gunther's a good talent. But
Oh, Gunther's the
I
shit
just came
until I
in right now. What
seen
are we talking about?
Obafemi. Until I seen Obafemi, I'm like, Gunther ain't really shit. Nigga,
I can't
Gunther,
say that.
look at Obafemi. I'm talking about suspension of
but
disbelief. He is more muscular than anybody on the
but you
roster
know, I
right
will
now.
say
True or
he had
false?
mentioned so. What's it called? So HBK four had said like previously, like we talking about what's it called? We talking about
400. HBK 400.
400. So 400 was talking about how like what's it called? How whatever Obafemi says or whatever, it matters more than Gunther says. However, like if you go back to the Vince doc, unfortunately in this America, we talking about xenophobia. And xenophobia still in wrestling specifically still matters because of the fact that Gunther is widely regarded as one of the absolute best that's on the WWE roster. However, he gets booed because of the xenophobic comments from both him as well as the fans as well. So then how does that translate over
Is
into
he
that?
really getting booed? Because at the end of the night, he getting cheered.
Yeah. I don't know if I can agree with you, HBK 400. I think Gunther's a good talent, man.
Nobody legitimately hates. Okay, let me tell you what I mean by that. People legitimately hate Vicky Guerrero. No matter how you could try to mix it up or whatever, that people
And
hate that.
and Dom Mysterio.
And that yep. To be modern, you're right. People legitimately hate Dominic Mysterio. He's great at his fucking job, and he's not even doing shit in the fucking ring.
Nope.
The man is just portraying Eddie Guerrero through and through. All I see is Eddie Guerrero character,
Yeah.
but it's a difference because Eddie Guerrero made me believe inside that ring.
Yeah.
Bro,
Dominic
Eddie Guerrero is
Mysterio
a
don't.
top five wrestler. Okay.
That's why I say wrestling is in trouble. Nobody could truly suspend your nobody could truly suspend your disbelief inside that ring.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing suspends my
You know,
disbelief, but that's just me personally.
but and that's why I say when it comes down to it, basically when it comes down to professional wrestling, I believe that everybody have the same booking. I'm sorry, everybody have the same ability. It's just based off of how you're being booked. And when you look at the WWE creative staff, and I'm not just talking about creative writing, I'm talking about producers as well. They don't have Black American writers. So when you do things with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and try to think that it's coming off appealing and shit to me, no, it's not. I can't really feel that shit because it's not being produced by the right hands. All these wrestlers could do is just go out and do what they're told to do. And it seems like they're purposely not making Obafemi seem better than Gunther. It seems like they're purposely not making Carmelo Hayes seem better than Braun Breaker. Because at the end of the day, Braun Breaker's supposed to do three moves and call it a fucking day. And Carmelo Hayes supposed to be your Shawn Michaels. But who do you predict having a better career at the end?
Yeah.
Which one?
Mhm.
Between Obafemi and Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker and, well, you could go that route. Yeah, Braun Breaker and Obafemi.
Sorry, I'm watching UFC in between this, fellas. I don't. I missed that
I
piece.
personally think Obafemi is a better talent than Brian Breaker, but I think
But who are they going to
I know they're
present?
going to present Brian probably bigger because yep.
I just wish they would call him
That's a
Rex Steiner,
problem.
bro.
And
Please call him Rex
leading into
Steiner.
2025, that's a problem to me.
You said
I
what?
mean,
So that's where I'm at with it, and that's why I can't enjoy it because it's like my suspension of disbelief not there. Like I said, you can't have Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi, Lash Legend, Jada Parker all be successful at the same time.
Yeah, they
Sure,
go.
you can. I'm not in today's. I mean, realistically, in terms of like the entire scope
And
of
it's
reality, not really.
2025.
But
Since you just said not today, it's 2025. That is a fucking problem to me. You have more, while everybody sit up here and talk about they not racist because they use Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and Naomi, you have more Japanese women active on the WWE roster than any black American. And on top of that, you don't see black people wrestling in Japan. You don't see them mixing in Mexico. So it's no even exchange. So why should I be satisfied, right?
Yeah, you do got a point there.
I just I'm dead
I mean,
serious.
bro, like
We heading
I don't
into
want to
a
be that guy,
fucked
bro.
up
Bro, I don't
situation.
want to be that guy. As a Puerto Rican American, I don't want to be that guy. But I'm saying, like, that becomes where, like, where does like the black minority in terms of the overall fan base, where does that come into play? Where they like listen to y'all, to us, I guess. You know
Uh,
what I'm saying? I'm dark
Well,
too,
they not.
so
They gonna
like,
keep. They
well,
not. They gonna keep.
hey,
They not. They're one. There's no one. There's no us. You said you was Puerto Rican, and you have Puerto Ricans have promotions. Colin Cologne, Carlito, and all of them have
hey,
promotions,
bro,
and
if we got
Black
arrested by the
Americans are
police, you
not.
gonna get shot, and I'm gonna get shot too.
Yeah, whatever. You gonna get justice, and I'm not. So what I'm saying is, Puerto Ricans got promotions, and Black Americans are not primarily wrestling in those promotions either. But if you want to lump us together, my main thing is the reason that people are not listening is because they are going to keep dismissing it for the fact that they say, "Oh, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins had the tag team match last night," and I should be satisfied and content with that. People tell me that Kofi Kingston held the WWE Championship 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I should be satisfied and content with that.
Not with the way Brock fucking beat him, no
5 years
sir.
later,
Not with the way Brock beat him, no sir.
mind you, Kofi never won the WWE Championship again. Not only did he not win the WWE Championship again, they never made him a serious contender, so it wasn't genuine. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
Brock, they booked Brock to
What
fucking
I
screw
want to
him, but
do,
that's it.
what I want to do is break out of that. Americans, when it come down to America, Black America, it's a big misconception. When you think of America, you think of white. Black Americans actually built America. Puerto Ricans didn't. Black Americans built America brick by brick, and we fought, bled, and died to maintain this motherfucker, and we get the least out of everything. And you would think that in a fake scripted sport, when we got so much of a 13% of people got so much of a stranglehold over sports and entertainment, that we should at least be representing America more prominently in the major American organization like the WWE.
I mean, but
It's white
I'm
supremacy.
not,
You got to
I'm
think
not saying
about it.
you're wrong. I'm
All the
just
black
saying,
Americans, all the black Americans that's in this space right now, all the schools that y'all went to, how many of them had rugby or lacrosse, hockey? We talking about really physical sports. And these are sports that's dominated by white folk. But if they actually had to put it into our schools, and we actually had to averted our attention away from basketball or football, whatever they relegate us to, we will be whooping their ass. And that's what they are afraid of, and that's why they keep it away from us. And that's the same thing with professional wrestling.
You are right because you got. Let me give you an example. You got a woman like Bianca Belair that literally has no wrestling experience and just come in right out the gate and just better than all these other women. Better than
She is as natural as Kurt Angle. She is as natural as Brock Lesnar.
yeah.
She is as natural as any person that came in and got quick success. It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
And my thing is this. My thing is this to break it even further. How many of y'all have children?
I don't got any kids, but you got
my
how many
blood getting
kids?
strong, bro.
Damn, honey, y'all. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Pussy is out here. Get y'all one before y'all die. Keep this keep y'all bloodline going. But anyway, That's neither here nor there. My point is this: when it comes down to children, white supremacy is an image thing. You know what I'm saying? When you look at you look, I mean, and I'm serious. You look at angel food, they say it's white. You look at devil's cake, they say it's black. Look. As a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna go there. Look at the definition of white and look at the definition of black, and then you can make your own determination from there. It's an image thing. Okay. So let's take my children. I got three. I got two boys and I got one girl. Okay. One of my boys watch wrestling and my girl watch wrestling. My daughter watch wrestling. My daughter is happy to see the success of Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and
Naomi.
Naomi. It's no different than when I was a child and I was happy that my highlight of the show beyond Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock was The Godfather, D'Lo Brown, and Farouk, or fucking any black person that they could bring out. You get what I'm saying? Today, there's nothing for my son to be like, oh shit, I'm seeing Montez Ford in the same position that I seen him in 3 years ago.
Don't see Bobby
They
Lashley.
don't look at him as they look at John Cena. They don't look at no black American as they see as John Cena or Roman Reigns or Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan. And my thing is this: we looking at Cody Rhodes right now. Who's to say that Cody Rhodes 30, 40 years from now is not a racist like Hulk Hogan? We done supported Hulk Hogan. We done bought his t-shirts. We done bought tickets to which produced him the greatest money that he could receive. We love him and we respect him. But to find out when you got children or grandchildren that he look at you as a nigger and you are a nigger to him and you're going to keep giving him your money. I don't want my children to keep looking at these potential white supremacists to find out that they are white supremacists. You understand what I'm saying? This is what we're facing. And I'm not saying that all white folk are racist or know that this other different shit, but we still are taking a chance. At the end of the day, Hulk Hogan couldn't come out in the 80s and call you a nigger. He couldn't do that. Hulk Hogan couldn't come out and call you a nigger and think that he was going to have the success that he had over the last 40 years and get away with the shit. How many undercover racists do we have in this world?
Well, you got a ton of them.
How many people are going to smile in your face and say, oh, Black Lives Matter? Fuck! But every death behind your back, they're going to go online and say the nigger deserved it. He should have complied. You know what I'm saying? These are the chances that we take. And these are the chances that we shouldn't have to take when it should be equality in an American organization. And there are Black American wrestlers around the country that are on these indices that are pretty fucking good. And that could be developed into something greater if you gave them the opportunity, but they don't even let them come through the door. You have these chosen Negroes, excuse me, chosen ones. So I'm tired of people saying that Bianca Belair held the title for a year. I shouldn't feel no type of way about this. I'm tired of people saying that Bobby Lashley, this is why I delineate, and I'm not trying to be racist, but like I was saying to, I believe it was Ethan, who was the Puerto Rican, you know, you try to compare your struggles to mine, and Bobby Lashley is a Panamanian. He's very dark skinned. He looked like one of us, but at the end of the day, he's not us. But we have to attach his success to us. In essence, we never had it. Barack Obama is Kenyan and white. He's not American. He's not me. He's Kenyan. And African people don't necessarily like Nigerians, like Obafemi and almost in real life, those people don't fuck with us. We're Akatas to them. We are non-factors to them. We are Americanized and they don't like that. But this is our representation. So I have to take their success and attach it to me. Bobby Lashley is Jamaican and Mostentarian. When I walk outside my doors, I'm not in Florida and I'm not in New York. So when I walk outside my doors, I don't see no Mostentarians and I don't see no Jamaicans. But you're telling me that this man represents me because his skin is dark. They use these other dark skinned people like Jade Cargill, who is a Jamaican. They use these other dark skinned people to undermine America, white America, true enemy, which is black Americans. And they give those people crumbs like they gave Kofi Kingston a 4 or 5 month reign, like they gave Swerve Strickland a 4 month reign, like they gave Big E a 3, 4 month reign, like they gave Bobby Lashley a 4 month reign. They will use those other dark skinned people successes and think that black Americans are supposed to be satisfied. Going back to Barack Obama, we never had a black American president. If Kamala Harris get in, she's Jamaican and Indian. We never had a black American president. I want something for us, finally. And in a sport that I love so dearly that I have been watching for, let's say 25, 26, 27 years, I want to see something for us genuinely. That's all I'm asking. Am I wrong as a black man for asking for that?
Well, no, I, nah, not at all. They got a video talking about Triple H. I can't hear it though because I'm on here talking about he addressing the criticisms around the black representation in WWE.
I'm gonna check all that out later. I'm pretty sure that they was gonna address that and he gonna give us some bullshit. But on some real shit, if y'all not familiar with who I am, check out my YouTube channel, Rasslin with Racism. I don't just touch on things that happen in professional wrestling, but majority of the content is wrestling with racism. Check it out. Subscribe if it hits you to the core, and tag it and let anybody know that is not, wrestling fans, whether they, I'm sorry, black Americans, whether they are wrestling fans or not. Let them know because it's a problem. And what I'm facing is the fact that all of us recognize that the WWE is in 2025 is not going to have 5 to 10 black American wrestlers successful at one time. Okay, so these people that are successful, what's going to happen with them over the next 2, 3 years? You know what I'm saying?
I could definitely, I could definitely,
I want to eliminate that. I want to eliminate that.
I could definitely agree with that. At least you want them to have at least a fair opportunity, and because you can.
Look at how many, and this is why I make Asians and Hispanics non-factors, because I made it a point to say that when you look at Japanese wrestling, and somebody said that NJPW or whatever was the best wrestling promotion or whatever, when you look at their promotions and you see the certain whites, you may see 5, 6 whites in there, or 3, 4 whites or whatever, and Hispanics may come through, Ultimo Dragon may come through or something, but you don't see these black Americans. You may see
Yeah,
one
the only one I
in
remember
a
back in the day was
decade.
Bob Sapp.
Bow
I mean,
Sapp, you
nowadays,
know
bro,
what
if
I'm
you're talking
saying?
about Black Americans in New Japan, it's literally just
And he
Kevin
ain't
Knight.
never did shit in America as a
It's
wrestler. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
Kevin Knight. How many of y'all know about Kevin Knight? That's the only one
Oh wow,
nowadays.
I heard the name.
Yeah, I mean he's featured in TNA and he's legit. He's solid for sure, but he's the only like. I mean, outside of like maybe Leo Rush when he went through, and then that's really it. Honestly, when it comes to African Americans in New Japan in today's
You know,
thing.
that's my thing. You had people that were successful. Kamala was successful for a long time in Japan.
Abdullah the Butcher. Wait, no, he ain't black. He's Sudan.
No, but my, my,
Kamala's
my
not
point
black. What
is
is he?
my point
Fucking
is My point is, you got these people that sprinkled in here. So the reason why I make them non-factors in America is because we're non-factors in their promotions. You know what I'm saying? It's not me being racist. We non-factors in their promotions, so they should be non-factors to me. So I'll try to break the roster down, black and white, when it comes down to representing America. And don't get me wrong, Samoans are American, but they're not black Americans. You have more active Samoans than black Americans. That's a problem to me in an American promotion. But people want to take Roman Reigns, and because the fact that the Usos is married to black women and Solo Sikoa is married to a black woman, attach that success to me? No. No. Can I actually get a black American that's successful? And so that's a problem to me when I look at the inequality. And then when you look at the representation for America, most of the representation is white. That's a problem to me. It's not me being racist. It's for my children. It's image. It's image. And I know I'm tired of this white supremacist image in a fake scripted sport. If every man was going for themselves, if it was UFC and every black man got their ass beat, how can I complain about that? It's a real sport. This is fake. What's the problem? I got more black movies in my repertoire than I do white movies. Five Heartbeats is still one of my favorite movies of all times. It's not a big box office hit, but I'm pretty sure everybody in their heart got a special something to it. You know what I'm saying? And we don't got that in wrestling. When we look at the success in wrestling, we rely on Booker T, and that's it. It's a problem to me in 2024 leading into 2025. So, like I said, the reason that it's continuing like this is because not enough of us are speaking on it and advocating for greater. And I hate to put this out, but I'm going to. I am leading toward having my own black owned and operating promotion. And I'm going to do it differently. So I'm not going to put nothing out. And we got a 5-year plan. That's all I say. Because we're going to put money and time in it to just go for it 100%. But with that being said, if black Americans try to do something for themselves to where I can say that this is going to be in a black owned and operated promotion, what point will white folk come in and say, hey, that's discrimination? And they tend to try to sue or integrate themselves in it forcefully as much as they could. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that varies where you're located, bro. I mean, like, where you located, bro?
I'm in Detroit, but I'm going to make what the plan that I got is to be a traveling group.
I mean, bro, like in Detroit, you're not gonna face much blowback, but as you go across, like maybe the Midwest, for example, that's what it is, and
Yes,
then
sir.
like that's when you become like that's like, for example, that like one indie, like super duper indie, like the one that's in like the Congo in Africa, and they have like the one white person like just like talking shit, and like he has like a following
Oh,
because of
that's
that.
Africa. That's different.
But I mean,
That's
it's still like of similar ilk. If you wanted to go that route, like if you're gonna be like a majority like black like dominated association, it's gonna end up going down that same route where you have like one white man who's gonna be your constant heel, and then you're gonna like feed all your black folks over to him to either beat or lose to like create a like whatever story you try to create from that perspective. So it varies from that piece.
my point in saying all of that is even if I was to put the foot forward to make these things happen for us, specifically for us, it's going to be so much interference. And my thing is this: if those people could interfere and they interfere on a legal level, then we should be able to interfere as a black American people, as a 13% of people, and recognize that whatever little crumbs that WWE choose to throw at us is not satisfactory, and that they could do better as an American company, and that they should do better as an American company. And hey, if you want to be straightforward, if you choose not to let that happen, then say it and let us go or integrate us properly. Listen, when I talk about equality, I don't just talk about wrestlers. I'm talking about producers, creative, cameramen, executives, people who have actual power within the WWE organization. Integrate them properly. Say this is beyond wrestling. Integrate them in every aspect of the business or let us go. They got 800 in the WWE. Look it up. They got 800 employees. 250 of them may be wrestlers. So the other five, six something, those are legitimate positions that have absolutely nothing to do with wrestling, right?
Yeah.
They all have a hand in building this brand. So, with that being said, how many prominent Black Americans do you have in those positions? Are you telling me that no one is qualified? Most of the people that work for the WWE don't give a shit about wrestling.
All right. I will just say that, but that's pretty much any company.
Yes.
So it's not just WWE. You're gonna have a lot of pencil pushers and companies, just people, executives, desk jobs, all that though. So that the one thing it is the wrestlers
You
and the
just got to
create.
take it. Wrestling with racism is just a specific field. I do take it on all fronts, and I get what you're saying, but I'm just, at least from the wrestling aspect, I'm breaking that down. But yes, this is in every field
Yeah,
of
yeah.
business.
So at the end of the day, it's gonna have to be stuff. It got to start with stuff we can actually see first before you could get
Mm-hmm.
to the stuff that you're talking about. So
Gotcha.
so the representation, I do agree. It definitely is important, but I feel a lot of times you get people that don't have genuine intentions with it. They just use it
Mm.
as something to talk about just to take shots and stuff. So we need
Mm-hmm.
people that actually really have genuine intentions and actually really care and not just trying to push an agenda on that as well.
Uh,
I,
hundred
so
percent.
I feel
And that's why I take. But you know what? That's 100%, and that's why I take lately when I view certain things that Triple H has done since I would say August, when there was no black wrestlers at all wrestling on SummerSlam. And this is y'all got to know I've been at this since 2020. It started off as an experiment during COVID, and I started analyzing what b- people were talking about during that time, and I pick people brains. I just started picking shit, and a lot of explosive things have come out. America is parallel, so professional wrestling is very much parallel with professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is parallel with America. And that's why I call it wrestling with racism. And if you check out my stuff, most of the things that I talk about is wrestling, but it's the same thing on day to day when it comes down to racism. You know what I'm saying? And I talk about a lot of other things outside of wrestling with other people. So if y'all follow me, y'all may be able to check it out. Check out some of the people I follow and some of the spaces that I go into. It's some deep shit that we get into, and y'all might be able to contribute. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you at. Um, but my thing is, I'm bringing it consistent because no one else is bringing it, and I'm keeping it in context as well. Because at the same time of me keeping things in context, we are noticing the problem. We are noticing that black people are declining in the WWE. Generally, people would come to me and say people in NXT was successful, but when you look at those Velveteen Dreams, who was affected, they accused him of something. It come to find out he wasn't charged criminally, and it come to find out that it was false, and he still don't have a job. Wrestling is his field, so you can't just say, "Oh shit, I'm going for wrestling and going to McDonald's and shit." This was what this man wanted to do. He was affected by an allegation. You look at Keith Lee, to where everybody wanted to sit up here and talk about the success that Keith Lee had in NXT, and I'm looking at Keith Lee today. He's nowhere.
He got health issues
You
though,
know what I'm
so
saying?
he got health issues. That's why.
I never seen no official report. No one is up front when it come down to Black Americans. And even at
He
that,
might not
if
want
that's
people to
the
know that
case,
stuff. So I can't necessarily agree on the Keith Lee front with you on that one though. But
I get that. But tell me what's the difference between Shane Taylor and Samoa Joe?
Shane Taylor, some more Joe. I ain't never really been into Shane Taylor, so but but you
If you look at his work, he is I mean, these are the people that they present us. Like I said, there's much more people out there, but I'm just speaking to the people that they got. I agree with what you may say. And in essence, though, when you do look at his work, it can be comparative to Samoa Joe. But they don't present him as such. And that's how you won't get that feeling. They would throw him out there for the fact of saying that they have him, but they're not going to present him as such. One of my biggest issues is everybody say, "Oh, Swerve Strickland is the AEW champion." Cool. How many people did you elevate throughout the time that Swerve Strickland was champion? Lee Moriarty is one of the people that they have. They did nothing to elevate him. I heard y'all talking about Private Party, who's been there since the beginning. That's a natural tag team. They did nothing to elevate them beyond what they are doing right now. You can't say that they don't have the ability. Anybody could do a moonsault and a fucking drop kick. Why aren't these guys further than where they are? It's a difference. They want these people to say that they have them, but they're not going to do anything with them to move forward.
well, I want to see this Triple H stuff real quick. I got my computer on. I want to see what he said.
Can you put it up to the thing? Because I didn't hear the comments either.
I'm gonna try to find it. It's on Twitter somewhere. Uh,
I wonder who asked them too, because see, Triple H not gonna talk to niggas like me. Triple H not gonna talk to niggas like you, but he will talk to a person and say, "Oh fuck, I love what you're doing down in NXT, and I don't understand why people say that you're racist." And oh my god, look at Bianca Belair. Triple H gonna talk to them niggas, but he not gonna come down to the D and talk to my ass. You
nah,
know what
he
I'm
can't.
saying?
Nah, he ain't Triple ain't gonna. So, as soon as he hear you start talking to, yeah,
I'm not gonna get a pass none of that shit. And don't get it twisted. I'm not an ignorant. I'm not an ignorant nigga for shit.
all right.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody gets the opportunity. All right, let me hear.
I don't see the difference, or that there are wrestlers that get opportunities that are deserved. I see everybody gets the opportunity. Like if I don't see the difference in anybody. I don't see the color. I don't see the nationality. I don't see any of it. I see talent. I don't see the difference
Pause
between
it
men
real
and
quick.
women.
Pause it
Oh,
real
okay.
quick. I'll pause it real quick. Just to keep it in context. When white folks say that they don't see color, that mean they don't see black people. Go ahead.
All right.
I see talent. We tell stories with those talent, how they can handle those stories and how they can represent those stories and how we can bring those stories forward. So, I don't keep track of any of that. I do what's relevant and what is best, and the best in storytelling and what's being delivered the best, and then that's what goes. No different than the men and the women who main events, whatever the biggest stories are. That's where we go. Next, sure that there are
Okay, that was what the gist of it.
And oh, he cut that off quick. See, let me tell you something. When white folks say they don't see color, that mean they don't see black people. Nigga, I'm in front of your face. So now let's go to the talent base. And like I said, this is what I said before. Black Americans, we all know, are the most athletic people in the world. We are the most talented, the most entertaining people in the world, and we are the most what's that fucking word that I use? Come
Charismatic.
on. Charismatic people in the world. Can anybody up here deny that?
I don't think so because you look at all entertainment, comedians, uh, actors, athletes, all dominated by blacks.
Nigga, I will watch Robin Harris 24 hours a day before I sit up and watch 1 minute of Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld is worth over $1 billion and Robin Harris is dead. You know what I'm saying? White supremacy. And I mean, you can't tell me once John said, I don't give a fuck how much of a coon you may be or whatever. You can't sit up here and tell me one Jerry Seinfeld joke and tell me that that shit is legitimately funny. You know what I'm saying? So I'm dead serious. And so with that being said, Triple H say that you don't look at color, but you look at talent and you look at ability. Well, look at the shape of black people in the WWE. Let's look at the shape. Trick Williams is in greater shape than most black white folk on the roster. Carmelo Hayes is in greater shape than most white folk on the roster. Obafemi may be in greater shape than any person on the roster. Physical. We just looking at them. You know what I'm saying? So we got that out the way. Charismatic. Stop stereotyping us and let us be what we are. And you may find out that we may be the best thing that you fucking got. Again, it comes down to effort. When I talk about inside the ring, what can Cody Rhodes do that Montez Ford can't do?
Well,
That's not knocking Cody Rhodes for what he does. But nigga, you ain't no special than the next man.
Dusty Sun, man.
Dusty was the biggest racist in the fucking world. Black people loved him though. That nigga Cater, he cosplayed on our culture. With that little, cause you know what? My mama could be in the kitchen and be like, look at that little fat old little boy. And we like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what got him over. Dusty hated your ass though. Dusty was in that Ric Flair, Ole Anderson circle. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I heard somebody that said they worked at a hospital that had treat Dusty Rhodes, and they said some stuff about him. That's all I'm gonna say.
Man, all I'm gonna say is this: you talking about a white man from motherfucking Texas, in the motherfucking that came up in Texas in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Let me tell you something. When your money is on the line
Hey, hey,
and you hate somebody, when your money is on the line and you hate somebody, are you going to sit up there and openly
no,
mistreat them?
no. You ever seen that Cody Rhodes show with his wife Brandy? Like the when he was in AEW.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't
I
watch it.
watched it though, man. I saw like the first episode, and Brandy was like, she was like, she was like, I don't think they like me.
They don't, nigga.
Like
Well,
his
this
sister,
bitch,
like talk
I
about his
found out
like
about
Cody's
this bitch.
sisters and shit. He was like, I wonder
And I
why they
want
don't
y'all
like
to
you,
talk.
Brandy.
Oh, you talking about his sisters and shit. But and you know it's funny too, cause one of them and don't get me wrong, when it come down to politics, I'm not for Trump or Kamala, but one of them Trump supporters did get their ass whooped the other day. That just show you, nigga, they don't give a fuck about your ass. You know, they'll let you they'll let you, you know, be anti-black all they want, but when it come down to it, nigga, you still a nigger to them. And you know, when it come down to interracial relationships, you got to remember, and we talking about historics now.
Well, man, I don't
Black,
know if I want to go down that route because I
You know where I'm at though, right? You know where I'm
Oh,
at though, right? So we can't say that because he's married to a black woman that he's not a racist. We're talking about a black woman that potentially hates herself. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say that is because I dug into her, and not literally, and I would, but she, I wouldn't marry the bitch because she white. But my thing is like when all the stuff happened down in 2020 with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and them getting killed. And people started questioning her on why she never spoke up. And she got an interview, and I'm going to find it. I'm drunk now. I'm not trying to look through all that shit right now. But you can look for it for yourself, and I'll find it later and send it to you if you don't see it. But she did address the situation that Black Americans don't accept her speaking on issues of like that because she's married to a white man. That's what she said. And I'm sitting up here thinking, like, bitch, if you a real black woman, you don't give a fuck what people think. Nigga, if you really feel this way about injustices that's going on against people with that share the same skin color as you should be able to speak on that no matter what people say. You know what I'm saying? The shit that I'm talking to y'all about right now, I get so much fucking hate from it, from white folk, black folk, anybody, but I'm not going to stop expressing my opinion. And that's where my problem is with her on that. So you got your husband out here speaking on injustices against white folk, against black people, and he's white, but you can't say shit. This is her. You know what I'm saying? So that's black people disconnect with her. And my thing is, when you get into these white spaces and you got to disconnect with black people because you got these tone views or whatever, you protected your daughter from not being viewed as a Breonna Taylor or a Sandra Bland or a Sexy Red. You know what I'm saying? You protected her image on that. At the end of the day, like you said, when it came down to Cody Rhodes' sister and shit, she got the feeling that she didn't like her. You still a nigger to these people, so now you lost in space. So Cody Rhodes being married to her, he just infatuated with vagina. Same reason why any white man want a white woman, want a black woman. So, in essence, we do recognize that there is a problem. And we do recognize that they aren't going to do anything about it. We do recognize that if we try to do something for ourselves, we are going to develop roadblocks. Why are you doing this for black people only? Why are you discriminating against white people? Why are you being racist? Da 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 da. We not being racist. We just having something for our own. But this is what they would say. Where do we, as a people, overcome?
you know how do we
That's the
overcome the
question.
roadblocks?
Yes, to gain freedom in America.
The only way you could do that is everybody come together.
Bingo. That's one.
And the only other way is you have to have ownership of stuff.
That's two. But those things tend to get stolen and swindled and shit. That's where we at
But
now. That's where we at where we
I'm
at
talking
right
about
now.
like real ownership, like ownership of land.
In real time. Yes. Where are you on reparations?
You said where are we on reparations? We
You,
ain't
you.
getting that shit. We ain't getting
How
that
the,
shit, man. Come on now.
of course not. But do you believe that we owed and due
We
reparations?
should get it, but we ain't gonna. It ain't gonna happen though.
No, we not. And I'll tell you why. We are non-factor at this point. We are the number three minority group in America. I'm sorry, we're the number two minority group in America right now. And this is why when the Puerto Rican was telling me about a black and brown coalition, well, guess what? It's more brown people in America right now than it is black people. It's about 20 million more of them in America, according to the 22 census in America. They're going to utilize these. What area do you live in, if you don't mind me asking?
For me,
Yeah.
I live in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, so that's practically black right now, right?
It's mixed.
With what?
No, like black and white.
Okay. Are you noticing any immigrants coming into your area?
But that's always been the case though, because like you go like you could think about if you live in a black area and you got the Asians selling you rice and shit, or they selling you owning the beauty shops and shit like that. But we always know that.
Mm-hmm. And they got a hate crime bill too. And the thing about that is, let's say your little sister or something, them Asians get smart than a motherfucker. And let's say that your sister had enough, bitch. You talking smart, you know, try to attack like they would attack your cousin or some shit like that. Not only would they get charged with an assault charge, but they would get charged with a hate crime. And we don't have no people like if Asians attack us, we won't get that same treatment. As a matter of fact, they may not even get an assault charge. You know what I'm saying?
Hold up, HBK
So
folks.
they
What up, Duke? CT.
Hey, what's up, man? How y'all doing after this
Uh,
show that basically
hey,
peaked after the first match?
HBK folks. Stacks. We'll switch. We get back to what you talking about my boy Duke.
I got you. Yeah. I ain't mean to do all that, but yeah, I got you though. I just wanted to
No,
throw that out there.
oh, that's no problem.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, it peaked after the first match, by the way. And I mean, I'm gonna say that both women's matches were mid, and Rhea and Liv. I'm like, I like Rhea, I like Liv, but my gosh, everyone, it's just basically, why didn't you just have a Rhea versus Dom? That's the match we've been booked and wanted to see. Liv has basically been completely forgotten about. She is just completely forgotten about. And at this point, we have Rhea Gonzalez come in and a botchy, sloppy finish that she was like knocked her out and then she dragged her up there. Like the match is called off. I'm like, what is this? It was just probably the worst match of the night, and that's a shame.
All right.
And then you,
I don't mean to cut you off, Duke CT. I'm gonna tell you why they can't do Liv versus Rhea versus Dominic. Because I'm gonna tell you why they ain't gonna do no intergender matches like that. All right, if they start doing those matches, you know what's gonna start happening. You're gonna have a clamor
what?
for a Tessa Blanchard situation where they gonna want a woman to be the world champion, and you do that, you effectively kill the fucking business.
Wait a minute. Eventually, you think that they may go that direction, though?
They better not. They'll kill their whole fucking audience. They do some shit like that.
I think that I don't know.
Yeah.
And we may not be talking about within the next 5 years, but who's to say that that won't
I hope I
happen?
be dead by.
It,
I hope I be dead by then.
but
I
I'm
ain't
just gonna
forgot
say
about
this
no.
though.
Hey, they ever put a woman? They ever put like WWE or AEW ever put a woman as the world champion? I'm done watching
Well,
wrestling.
TNA, hey,
Hey, I tell you what, and I'm not switching it back to that. But just to say this, I guarantee you that they would have more women be world champions before they ever give Black Americans salvation completely in the WWE. But yeah, I believe that can and will happen one day. I don't think they'll be opposed to that,
That'll be
unfortunately.
50,
well,
60 years from now when I'm in the dirt. 'Cause I ain't
but
trying to
yeah,
hear that
I
shit.
think that. Oh, I'm just but that's what they've been booking towards, and I'm like, by the way, did you ever forget that Liv Morgan's the women's champion? By the way, I feel like they just forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, cause she sucks, man.
Well, this is what I was saying about Triple H's booking overall. It's no substance. They hot. And don't get me wrong, WrestleMania that I enjoyed. I fell off of wrestling after WrestleMania because that ride that they put us on, that rejuvenated me for a minute. That was a great build up overall through WrestleMania. But after WrestleMania, it's like one when it okay. Let me break it down. Rhea Ripley, I believe that people like is infatuated with Rhea Ripley the same way that they infatuated with Becky Lynch. Her accent. It's the accent. And the unique look, she got the black makeup on. Nobody else got black makeup on and black hair and all the other different shit. And Becky Lynch with the orange hair. You know what I'm saying? Presentation. To
Yes.
me, inside the ring, those women never did nothing inside the ring to make me be like, oh shit, you a fucking legend. But of course, they're going to present them that way. But obviously, Rhea Ripley is bigger than what she's supposed to be, and obviously, Liv Morgan is bigger than what she's supposed to be. I think that Liv Morgan is good for the role that she's playing, but for her to be a multi-time women's champion and to stand the test of time, obviously, they're going to have to do something different with her later on down the line.
That
Now, I
feud
want to
with
say
Rhea
this about
Ripley ruined her. I mean, that feud with Leah has been ruined ever since that Ronda Rousey feud. That just killed her.
I'm sorry, who?
The Ronda Rousey thing. When she was like she pinned her, then she tapped out, and then she had that wishy washy promo after
But
SmackDown. I'm
they
like,
should have never put her in the ring with Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's a real fucking
I don't
problem.
even remember. I don't remember that or give a fuck about it because that's the thing. At that time, they really wasn't shit. And the thing is, wins and losses sometimes don't mean anything. It depends on how you make up for it, and they have made up with it with Rhea Ripley. And if you can, but okay, but that's important that you said that. How long ago was that she lost to Ronda Rousey?
Oh, that was like 2 years ago.
And you still put that against Rhea Ripley?
no, I don't put that against her. I think it's just a presentation. Her presentation,
Oh,
Liv Morgan's presentation, it's just the whole Judgment Day. It just feels like honestly they should be at this point. I wish they just break up at this point. It just feels like it's just a drain on everyone. I mean,
well, let's look at that. I always talk about this. What was Judgment's Day objective?
to get Rhea and Priest over.
Okay, so technically they never had an objective because they could have did that without the Judgment Day. And so my thing is like I take for an example like Damian Priest won the world title.
Hmm.
Instantly they break up. So y'all point was never to have a world champion in y'all stable. It was never domination. The blood
Yeah.
Judgment Day, like you win a world title and all shit just fall apart.
It's backwards, back hustling backwards.
Yeah.
You don't remember that Edge was the key piece to
Yeah,
this. You don't, they don't give you nothing. And I think that Triple H just live off that's the perfect way to describe it. Triple H just live off of moments just to get through the night.
Yeah, and honestly, he's living through, I mean, look at the Judgment Day, look at the Bloodline. Those were Vince McMahon's like final big stuff, and he hasn't really. What was
Yep.
his big story stuff here? I mean,
This Netflix is going to expose Triple H because, like you said, it is everything is still dry. Even Dominic Mysterio, all that shit is drawing off of Vince McMahon. I want to say this real quick. I want to get back to what we was just saying. I just want to say this real quick. Dominic Mysterio, I believe, off of intergender matches, I believe that Dominic Mysterio could pull it off. Dominic Mysterio remind me so much of Eddie Guerrero on every level, except for in the ring. But as far as a character standpoint, that I believe that he could pull off an intergender match to where he could lose, not look weak, and move on from there. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
oh yes, and I think so.
But eventually he's going to have to step up inside that ring. Eddie Guerrero brought it in the ring first.
yeah. But
You know, my thing is China and Eddie Guerrero. This is how great things was. China and Eddie Guerrero. If you look back on it, 6 months. That's it. At the WrestleMania, by SummerSlam, they was broke up. SummerSlam, Unforgiven or something, September, they was broke up. but we got a lifetime memory of them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Whatever they did stood the test of time. Remember, she came out with the roses and shit. That bitch was a pipe, and she'll bust your fucking head with that shit.
Oh yeah.
You know, that was a 6 month run, and that's all that they needed for us to say that Eddie Guerrero in China was the shit.
What is the modern day of that? What is the modern day of something that stood the test of time?
Well, something that stood the test of time. As much as I believe that he's a racist, as I believe that he's a racist, the only person I believe that truly has it in this business right now today is MJF in every way.
Oh yeah, I think that is true. And I don't know about all the other stuff, but I want to just go back to the pay per view.
I do.
I think that but yeah, I want to get back to the pay per view. Is that you know, it's funny how you had like those two women matches and Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Just, I mean, it's fine. I feel like, you know what it feels like? I felt like that should have been on Monday Night Raw and just put the world title match there. That's what I felt like that match was.
But the thing is, this is what I look
Where do you move on with them? That's the key. Where do you move on with Finn Balor, and where do you move on with?
free,
And I'm not talking about Judgment Day. Where do you move on with Finn Balor, and where do you move on with
free.
Him losing the tag
Damian
belts.
Priest?
Him losing the tag belts.
All right. So this is why I get it. Like, are we judging the show by the show itself, or are we judging the show by the show and what's going to happen after that? Because if we're judging it just strictly by the show, I thought the show was fine. I thought it was a good show.
Oh,
Decent.
this was a great show, I believe.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
decent. I think it was decent to good. The women's matches drag. I think it drags down. I think Punk and Drew were great. I think
I,
the tag match was great.
That may have been the best Hell in a Cell match. I mean, as a match quality, you know, Undertaker and Mankind got spots. As a
yeah, match.
match,
Yeah,
this I gotta watch Brock Lesnar and Undertaker again,
yeah.
I think
and I gotta
Orton.
watch because I found an appreciation for Batista. I gotta watch Batista and Triple H again. But on the match aspect, this may have been the best Hell in a Cell match
Yeah,
I ever
and
seen.
everything made sense.
Yeah, it was probably one of the best matches I think these two had, and I hope the feud ends. And it pretty much gives. I think Punk is going to beat. I think it's going to be Punk going against Gunther. Oh heck, maybe it's going to be Punk versus Goldberg because you saw that whole little sketch, right? I'm just saying, it's not. I mean, the Saudi show is coming up, and the Saudis love Goldberg, so don't be surprised if that title
Well,
change.
wait a minute. I think that Goldberg is going to stick with Gunther, and then that's going to be it for Goldberg. But
Because Goldberg just said he wanted to have a retirement match.
I think that's the logical, and I think that's going to be it for him. But for CM Punk next, I believe it's going to be Ethan Page. If y'all seen what happened on NXT,
I don't know. Ethan, I think he's good at NXT, but will he be good enough for Monday Night Raw for a feud with CM Punk? I don't know.
well, that goes once again to Triple H versus HBK. HBK made
He's
me
better.
interested in
He's the best
Ethan
booker right
Page.
now. He is the best.
Yes, he made me interested in Ethan Page. I was happy with Ethan Page title reign. I was happy with Ethan Page since I seen him in because I heard his name. I never gave a fuck about him
He's
before.
was good, but he never had something to put his meat into, his sink his teeth into. I think NXT did that, and now look at him right now. They have direction, they have all this other stuff, and honestly, I think Shawn Michaels is probably the better booker because he has stuff he can put his name on. He can put on stuff like Trick.
Shawn Michaels is a fucking one thing about Shawn Michaels is the best storyteller in the ring history. I will give him that, especially and you could go pre 1998, but his last run between 2000 and 2002 and till the time he retired, Shawn Michaels is the best storyteller in the ring. probably ever. Probably. That's my opinion. And so I can see why his booking is the way that it is. You got to know Shawn Michaels 2002 to 2000 what, 9
10.
when he retired or
No,
something.
I think he retired in 2012, I think. 2011.
2012.
No, he retired. He
You
retired
got to
in
know Shawn Michaels.
2010.
You got to
He
know
had that
Shawn Michaels
retirement
did.
match against Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he never
Shawn
wrestled
Michaels
again.
is
Well,
yes, and
until
I
Saudi
appreciate
came,
that. No, he had that shitty match, but that ain't shit. You right. He never wrestled again.
just like Ric Flair never wrestled again. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, Ric Flair fucking is embarrassment.
Saying he had a heart attack during the goddamn match. Good lord.
He a racist bitch, and I wish that when I met him that I would have been on code to when I am today. But nah, I met Ric Flair. I met Ric Flair at a Ring of Honor show probably around 2012, 2013 or some shit like that. And the thing is, I knew that he was at the show and he was signing autographs, and the autographs was like $50. And I was in a long ass line, and I'm like, I'm not about to pay no goddamn $50. I'm good with seeing him from a distance. So it just so happened I went to the bathroom and he come out the fucking store and my dumb ass at the time, coon or whatever you want to call it. Oh my God, Ric Flair, da, 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 da. It's so good to meet you. And I shook this motherfucking hand and I'm like, oh my God, I'll never wash this hand again and all this other different
I
shit.
guess that was before you heard the Teddy Long interview.
This is before all that, before I even gave a fuck about all that shit. And my dumb ass now, I'm thinking back realizing this motherfucker came out the store and didn't wash his fucking hands and I shook that motherfucker. Nasty bitch.
Mm, yeah. But what do you think
I ain't
about?
shit it because the bathroom stink.
Ah man, I got to head out. But I want to say this before I go. What do you think of the tag main event? Good stuff. I just I feel bad for
You see the
Solo
Kevin
taking.
Owens stuff?
Yeah, why can that be on SmackDown? Why is that like
I
having?
like this match. I like this. I'm glad that you mentioned the main event, and I was gonna let this go over my head because the main event didn't even cross my mind as we was talking. I do want to say this. One thing that wrestling has turned into is finish move after finish move after finish move. Close call after close call. This match was a tag team brawl. It was a tag team match, and it was a tag team brawl that didn't need 100 spears and 100 Cody Rhodes thing, twisters or whatever he do. It was a tag team brawl, and I was satisfied and content. On top of that, The Rock came out. That was a great tag team match, and for the star power, it was a great main event.
I just feel bad for Solo, man. He hasn't. I mean, the man has not had a victory since what? Like after those that three way match he had like a couple months ago. And when's his last singles victory? I think that's the last one.
Can I pull your ear to something? Can I pull your ear to something?
Well,
It could work nowadays. It can work nowadays because you still looking at Solo as a threat, and I agree with you. I think about that all the time. But then I'm just looking at modern days. But then again, can we really look at this? Jeff Hardy, historically, was a jobber. Jeff Hardy beat all of your small time players. But when it came down to main, yeah, he won the world title, but he probably held those titles for like a month at a time. He never really beat your Edge in the main event match, Undertaker in the main event match, The Rock in the main event match, this, that, and the other. He always took the losses on the big matches, the big matches. You get what I'm saying? And they gave him that world title to give him credibility, but Jeff Hardy was technically a loser.
but this Solo has the
But he
same
all you
vibe of Jeff
go ahead.
Hardy. Is he on the same vibe?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the fact that when it come down to certain people, wins and losses don't mean anything. They're going to continue with certain people is put in the main event to job.
Mm,
Perfect example. Macho Man Randy Savage never pinned Hulk Hogan.
mm.
They done wrestled each other 100 times across the world.
Yep.
Randy Savage never beat Hulk
And,
Hogan, but you would look at him as one of his greatest
and then I
competitors.
remember Chris Jericho said he's never beat John Cena.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you would look at him as when you go into a match, you would believe that he have an opportunity to beat
Hmm.
John Cena. Um, trying to think of big people that was just fucking big people that could beat everybody, but when it came down to big match times, he lost. But that's what they are made for. Mankind. Mick Foley is the perfect example.
Mm.
Mick Foley was the key to everybody getting over. Before the Undertaker, you got to remember the Undertaker won the WWF title in 1992. Before then, he didn't get it to 1997. He had a big major feud with Mick Foley for a few months before he overcame and became a world champion again, and became bigger than the Undertaker. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More characterized than that dead man. Same thing with The Rock. Mick Foley was the one that put The Rock over. Mick Foley was the one that The Rock, Mick Foley may have won here on a Raw or two, but at the end of the day, big time, Mick Foley was going to lose. You know what I'm saying? Certain people is put in they will beat all the smaller people, but once they get to the big people, they're going to lose. The Rock could beat everybody up under the sun. He couldn't beat Stone Cold Steve Austin for shit.
Not until that last
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
The last match that Stone Cold Steve Austin never had.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's the thing though. And I think that you build. I think that's a good point. But I do worry though because Jake Fatu
When I say
is
Jeff Hardy as a jobber, I don't want people to think that he lost. But when you put it in that instance, hey, he
yeah,
was a jobber.
yeah. He just never really reached that top epsilon. And besides,
So my point in saying that is you gotta keep people like that. You gotta keep people like Solo for people like Roman Reigns to keep his legacy going. I can make him look strong enough beneath me, but he can't beat the man.
yeah, and but I do like I say, Roman's not going to be there forever. Cody ain't going to be there forever. I mean, you do. Solo is 30. He's still young, same as Jacob, and all that stuff. I just like again, I worry because time's ticking, and his aura is very low at this point. I just wish that they would have.
But shit, they
Who's
got
talking
better
right now?
talent down in NXT. But it depends on how they feature. Like me and
So wait a minute, Duke. That was you that just said
no, that
that.
was me.
Yeah, it's just yeah,
Okay, so Jay, I don't. Okay, so Duke, I don't think that you was up here earlier when I was telling Jay that. Remember, I told you that wrestlers now what we're going to face is them having short spans. Instead of people getting twin like Billy Gunn is 60 and he got a 40-year career right now, I don't think we're going to get those. I think that wrestling is going to move so much at a fast pace. You're going to get your stars. They're going to get there. And in 5 years, they out of there. Just like The Rock. Because if we pay attention, we let time is an illusion. The Rock only been in the WWE for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
5 years, and I'm not just talking about him being the man. I'm talking about from 1996 to 2001. He was more active maybe in 2002, maybe. So we're gonna say 5 or 6 years, and that was it for The Rock. But we look at The Rock, we got a feeling like The Rock been in the industry for 20, 30 years. You get what I'm saying?
yes,
No one is going to be able to capture us like that because time is moving so rapidly. So I think the shelf life of wrestlers, we're not going to get no more Miz's, and we're not going to get no more Hulk Hogan's or Dusty Rhodes to where they going to be able to keep our attention for 30, 40 years. I think that time is going to be over.
mm, yeah. Well,
And that's where wrestling is going to be in trouble.
mm,
Think about where the WWE could possibly be at in 10 years. And I'm not even just on that bullshit. Y'all can go through my shit and think I'm trolling the shit, but I low key be serious. Triple H got heart problems. What if he die next week?
mm,
You have no Vince McMahon touch at all. You got people that think that they could book this shit, but who has been the most successful? Vince McMahon.
Mm.
And we talking about business. So the people that own the WWE is the UFC. They know how to promote UFC. The only person that know how to promote MMA is Dana White.
Yeah, that's why he's still
He
there.
don't know how to promote wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He don't even respect wrestling.
He sees it as a sideshow.
So my point is, if the WWE go down, because you don't have that care that's into it. You know what I'm saying? That care that's into it. Vince McMahon put that touch on there. Whether you like this shit or not, nigga, you was invested. At some point, you may have fell off for a few months, you may have fell off for a few years, but you brought your ass back home. Nobody else got that ability. That's where I'm at with it.
Mm.
I'm old school. I could just see it, nigga. Call me whatever. Call me whatever, nigga. These motherfuckers, I don't see these motherfuckers progressing. I don't see the WWE being anything. I don't see them developing new fans within the next 10 years.
Ooh.
But
That's a bold
I
speech.
say that.
but they got the talent to though.
It is how you feature them. That's the
Yeah.
question.
Yep.
So, me and you, Jay, me and you the same age. We've been watching, give or take a couple of years around the same time. Duke, how old are you?
I'm 38, and I've been watching
Okay,
since I
Duke.
was like in the 80s and 90s. And I dipped off around and everything else, but I circle
So we
around.
just about the same age and we got about the same knowledge, right? Because you still know what's what, right?
Hmm.
70s, 80s, 90s. Okay, so we all three of us is on the same page. At least we done seen it all, okay? And I'm not just talking about wrestling. We done seen it all. We done heard it all in music. We done seen it all in movies. We done seen it all in any type of aspect. I'm pretty sure. I don't know you brothers, but I'm pretty sure that we all on that same page. All right. I'm pretty sure Merton is all our favorite show, right? Top five,
Oh
right?
yes, yes.
Okay. If we could be on that same page. We've seen it all. What more could any wrestling do to keep you invested 10 years from now?
Hmm.
Music get on my nerves today. I can't stand it.
Oh man, I have you here talking all
I,
day if we start talking about music, man.
but I think the one thing is, and I think I have a little more hope, is that it's going to be more decentralized. It will go back to the days of territories and indies and such like that. That's why I think wrestling will go back to. There'll be big events, but it'll be more decentralized. Because again, you see a lot more independent artists right now. You see people who had no shot before, or just new ideas. They have their own niche. They can be like, hey, I can be like, wow, I can get like a, you know, multiple spins on like Spotify or, you know, sound, all the other stuff, man. So they know all they need to do is just like get the right people in their path, and then bam, there you go. I think that's what we are listening to right now, music, and I think that's the same thing happening to wrestling. You're gonna
I
have
mean, and
a back to territories, back to the same thing. That's what it's going to be. More niche,
okay, so
but a
think
sustainable
about what you're
niche.
saying though. Think about what you're saying though. Think about what you're saying. You saying the territories. So now, when you say territory, you mean like multiple promotions. And listen. Let's break it down. Even if you say coast to coast, east, west, north, south. So you got, let's just say, four major promotions. First of all, as you could tell, AEW isn't intriguing. Maybe that could be off the top. Maybe that could be because of Tony Khan. Then again, maybe it's because wrestling don't sell and everybody go to is the WWE. But if the WWE don't bring the intrigue that they are known for having, and you do say that they break down territorially, do you believe that it would be mainstream, or do you believe that it's just going to be something that we just going to have to find on our own? on the internet or something.
It's already slowly happened. I mean, even Vince said back in, I think, 2012 or 2013, he pulled up a cell phone and said, "This is the future." And I think that's pretty much what it is now. Everyone has their own apps, their own things, and everything else. So it's just going to break down to that type of situation. And I think it's going to be when you look at the Netflix now. You look at AEW to be on Max now. You're going to see, the rating systems on TV is pretty much over. The Nelson rating is dead. No one watches TV anymore.
Well,
And they,
WWE, that's why when people talk about ratings and wrestling, not to cut you off, but when people talk about wrestling and ratings, Vince McMahon said this shit in the 90s on that Off the Record, if you could find it. He had a few interviews on there, but there's one particular thing he said. But even matter of fact, even what I was about to say, that's irrelevant. With them moving on Netflix and all that shit, see, WWE money is already in the bank. NBC could give them $5 billion for 5 years.
1 billion.
Saudi Arabia could give them $5 billion for 5 years. You know, these networks could give them money. So it doesn't matter if their ratings is high or not. They're going to get the same money regardless. Their money is projected, and if they're and the only difference in projection that you're gonna notice is probably merchandise and then ticket sales. You get what I'm saying? Other than that, WWE money is in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
The WWE is not spending money to make money.
Yeah, they're done. I mean, they got everything. And
They got it.
Yeah, whenever they have one of them WrestleManias, they got cities bidding on them, bro.
Yes,
yeah, they got.
it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's right there. It's become like their Super Bowl and such. And
But you got to remember though. You got to remember though. You know, The Rock brought the heat for this advertisement for this
Oh yeah,
WrestleMania. How much more heat do you think that they got?
that's why they paid that motherfucking $9 million just for them little months he did.
But listen, The Rock can't do it every single year. How much heat do they
Yeah,
got? Think about it. Can you name me 5 wrestlers I mean both of y'all differently? Can y'all name me 5 wrestlers that's going to be in the industry that you see being successful in the industry 10 years from now?
none.
Not one besides MJF. I give MJF.
Man, Hollywood's going to call him. Same as Swerve. Same as Cody, because he already got a taste. I mean, he did like some stuff on the Arrow and everything, so don't think he might not come back to that. You got like who? I think Trick is probably, I wouldn't be surprised he's going to be gone in 2 or 3 years. Same as Mello. He's probably gone. I mean, most of the New
Fucked
Day,
up. That's fucked up.
most of the New Day is already doing reality shows, so
New Day is done. After this feud, they're done. I made up my mind that Xavier Woods is done. But that's why I delineate. Duke, I don't think you was up here earlier, but that's why I delineate. If you look at the history of New Day, like I said, Biggie is Jamaican and Monsterian, and Kofi Kingston
Ghana.
is Ghanaian.
I thought he was Jamaican.
They're not Black Americans, and Xavier Woods has had the least success out of all of them. Not saying he should have been WWE champion, but even when they were tag team champions, it was only 2 of them in the ring, and Xavier Woods
You
wasn't
don't
one
rock
of them.
with Xavier Woods?
Huh? No, I'm not. I'm delineating. I rock more with Xavier Woods than I do Big E and
Oh,
Kofi
okay.
I
Kingston.
mean,
That's what
I
I.
feel honestly his best stuff was when he was in TNA as Consequences Creed, but you don't know really remembers
He
that.
always had it. He always had it. The WWE never put no effort behind it.
Well, they had a little bit
Always
something,
had it.
but I think at the end now it's just that that he had his niche. He has his niche, and he's probably
Mm,
chilling with
mm.
playing Uno with like
Hey,
Claudio
hey, look, I'm gonna ask you
and
this: the Odyssey Jones, have they convicted him or anything yet?
They
oh
didn't charge
Charge,
him. No, they didn't
charge him or anything?
charge him with
Mm.
anything.
he's they
He wasn't even charged with the crime. He's out of a job.
Well,
And
the situation with him weird because even before that, like he got called up like a year ago and they never used him.
yeah, he was just like there. I was like, was he like heck? He was
man,
working
listen,
SmackDown house shows. Like, wait a minute, was he supposed to be on
bro.
Raw?
Bro. Y'all subscribe to my channel and listen to my shit. I've been calling all this out. And I'm gonna bring you something even deeper. I'm gonna go to something that's more closer than all of us. Let's look at Diddy right now. I'm gonna take a look at the system of white supremacy real
Ooh,
quick. Y'all familiar with this Diddy situation, right?
yep.
Yeah.
What exactly is he being accused of?
Mm,
Somebody,
let's
hey,
see.
And give me
somebody,
details.
Dr. Umar brought this. He said something about like Hugh Hefner been doing this for years.
Nigga, he have. Look on my page. I've mentioned Hugh Hefner. Yes, he have. Matter of fact, on my last podcast, matter of fact, on my Vince McMahon shit, I said that Hugh Hefner is the American pimp.
He just had a better marketing team. That's what he had, and
So let me
protection. He had the complexion for protection
let,
and a great marketing team.
let me show you the power of white supremacy. I just asked y'all to give me details on Diddy and y'all don't have nothing.
Mhm.
Now, if I ask you to give me details on Vince McMahon and what he's being sued for, you could tell me he shit on bitches' heads. You could tell me that he's been accused of of prostituting these women out to other wrestlers, executives, or whoever. You know what I'm saying? Him raping people. This is actual allegations that people are actually coming out and accusing him of. And Vince McMahon is being sued while Diddy is in jail, and nobody can truly say what Diddy did. These is all rumors that we always been saying about Diddy, but he's never been charged or convicted for none of it.
Honestly, the reason why is the same thing as wins are. Look at Larry Flint. You can look at Hell Hefner. You can look at the people who you know, I guarantee you,
Nigga,
they
look at your president.
the
Look at your president, Joe Biden
Trump.
and Donald Trump.
They
We
were.
know Joe. No, fuck that. Joe Biden. Ain't nobody ever came out and said nothing yet. Joe Biden been fucking these bitches too.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
cut the bull job.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna take y'all deeper. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take y'all deeper. Jesse Jackson ran for president and he lost because he cheated on his wife. But Bill Clinton won the presidency, and before he was president, he was getting accusations of fucking bitches during his second election. He got indicted on fucking lying about fucking bitches and shit, and he's labeled the first black president. Come on, now.
oh yeah. It's because the system. And honestly, I think
Despite the fact that he locked up more black Americans since fucking slavery.
yeah, they're putting the plane thing for the same thing with Kamala as well. So it's just the same BS. It's different day. And honestly, the reason why most of these people don't get any charges and everything else is because I'm gonna say this: they
White
get
supremacy.
white supremacy, and they get they get like people from local senators, local city council, local people
White
to
supremacy.
yeah, they get the local
White supremacy.
lawmen. They get the local law on their
they,
side.
hey, they gonna go out and vote. We not. We gonna vote for the presidential election and that's it. Them niggas know who they gonna vote for. They senators, city council, state representatives, mayors, governors, all that shit. There's so many different layers that these motherfuckers got to be opposed to us.
Oh, and by the way, they not
So
just
I want y'all
voting.
to pay attention to something. I want y'all to pay attention to something. Where everybody think that Vince McMahon losing, Vince McMahon walked out of this deal with $10 billion in his pocket. And when I say that, and I'm talking about the money. When wrestling with racism, I don't talk about just racism. I talk about money. You
Power.
understand what I'm saying? Vince McMahon walked out of this deal with $10 billion out of in his pocket after taxes. Look it up. It was a $21 billion deal.
Yeah, and he sold all this stock
And
too.
Vince McMahon don't have no side by side partners. He walked out of this shit with his with $10 billion in his pocket, and he's being sued for $100 million. Did the man? And he's in his 80s and he's retired. Did he lose?
Mm.
Yeah. Woo. Spitting, and you know what? He hasn't lost a damn
And
thing.
he ain't gotta fuck. Hold on, I'm gonna take you even deeper. And he ain't never gotta fuck Linda McMahon again.
There's
Wow,
no
man.
consequence.
What?
There's no consequence, buddy. There's no consequence over
And
that, sir.
Diddy is sitting, and Sean Combs is sitting in jail.
Same with R. Kelly. You know?
I'm not saying that Diddy is guilty. I'm not saying that he innocent. I don't know. But you know what? Even if they did find that man innocent, Black Americans don't have no justice in America. So I don't know if that's true or not. I just sat up here. Temptations is one of my favorite movies of all time. I just stood up there and sat them put on. You remember the scene where he got fired
Mm-hmm.
and he was cussing them out?
Yep.
That was they got AI with Diddy face on there with them niggas got fucking Jay-Z and all these other and they look just like him. AI is a bitch.
Mm.
So all these tapes that they say that they got on Diddy, who's to say that it's fucking real?
Yep. Again,
We moving into a new era, nigga, and it's anti-black.
it's been anti-black since we got here. And they will.
It's even worse. More Hispanics in America than it is Black Americans.
Man. And a lot of them are like anti-black, but no one wants to talk about that because it will destroy that little intersectionality type of weird, fantasy in their heads.
Man, these Africans out here hate us. These motherfucking Jamaicans hate us. These Haitians out here, they come in here. They get the incentives and the benefits that we are supposed to receive, and that's more than what they get at home. So they look at us as to why are we dissatisfied?
But you know who hate us the most? The Africans. They hate us more than white folks.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. I'm not gonna say that they don't hate us more than the white folk. They hate us through white folk.
Yeah.
White folk will take an African and say, "Look, we got a nigger that's in this prominent position, so you can't say that we racist." And as long as they know that they can get them positions over us, listen, you got an African that's about to play Otis Redding. You've had Africans that have played, and UK people like Idris. You know,
You don't rock with Idris.
5 years ago, I wouldn't have a problem with Idris Elba Idris, or whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Elba. It's Elba.
5 years ago, I wouldn't have a problem with him. But now I'm noticing like a lot of people from the
Is
UK
he buck dancing?
is playing Harriet Tubman. They playing Aretha Franklin.
Uh,
They playing Otis Redding. They playing us now. You know what
hey,
I'm
what
saying?
you think about Umar Johnson? Yeah.
Umar, Dr.
Yeah, what
Umar.
you think about him?
Mm.
I agree with a lot of things that he say, but I'm flip flop on him. I'm flip flop on Tariq Nasheed, even though I agree a lot of things they say because you know everybody got opinions in social media, just like I do. You know what I'm saying? At this moment, I'm not in it for the money. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Umar said that he was going to build a school.
Yep.
Yep. Didn't do
He's been
that.
getting donations, and that's been his primary focus. And for the fact that Jalen Rose, and I'm in Detroit, Jalen Rose has had schools in Detroit for the last 20 years. He's had charters. He's got at least 3 charter schools in Detroit for the last 20 years. It's no excuse for you.
What is he doing with them?
But I agree with a lot of things that he say, and I do believe that he should be listened to. That's all I'll say on that.
What are you doing with the donations?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Probably getting his stuff out there, but that's what I think it
Then
is.
again, then again, I'm not naive because I am in Detroit once again, and I can only speak from my experience in the city of Detroit where we're being gentrified right now at this very moment. They, we, okay, whoever said that a lot of Asians own y'all stores and stuff,
I heard.
A lot of Middle Eastern people own our stores. They service us. You
The
know what I'm saying?
Arabs, we
Mm.
got them too.
Where you at?
Like I said, St. Louis, Midwest.
Well,
St.
same
Louis.
here around where
Yep.
where I'm at, man. And I remember there was an old video by like a dude
They
named
own all
Big.
the 7-Elevens.
Yeah, the
Oh yeah.
over at an old video got video from like a dude called BB Cal, Big B Cal. He used to YouTube. I don't know if he does it, but I saw a video basically saying that yeah, this they had this idea, and it was basically all the stores and everything else. They had this big mosque or whatever. And they have their own schools. They have like the stuff for the old people. They're like they're gonna have all this stuff here. And I'm like, he said, what?
I'm glad that you saying this, brother. You lining up right with what I'm about to tell you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's he was saying that why aren't we doing this? What we used to, but now we're just
It's
all
not. It's no. It's not. I'm gonna cut you right there. Bam. See, like I said, I'm with you on what you say. Now we got to look at history,
mm,
okay? And I'm gonna tell you what's going on with me. We in Detroit we are not able to service our own people. They will practically give these Arabs the land. They would charge us 3 or 4 times more for a piece of property for us to service our people. Here's the thing: in the suburbs, which is very close to Detroit, they will allow us to go out and service them. But when it come down to servicing our own people in our community, they will not allow it to happen. We got certain codes, this, that, and the other, and they'll try to cut you as soon as you fuck up one time or somebody else fuck up your shit. You know what I'm saying? A nigga smoked the blunt outside your door. Oh, you shut down for life.
yep.
It's white supremacy. And so you can't sit up here and think that niggas is, and I don't say niggas. I'm just when I speak on white folk language. That's the only way that you can talk to these people. So when I say nigger or niggas and all this other different shit, I'm speaking white folk language. All right.
Mm,
You can't sit up here and think that all niggers are legitimately lazy
no,
to the
no.
point to where we don't want to own and control anything. You get what I'm saying? When I look at the breakdown of the city of Detroit, when Coleman Young became mayor in the 70s, he drove all the white folk out. And black people were able to produce and do things for ourselves. But then the system of white supremacy pumped drugs throughout our community. It scared whatever remaining white folk were out, and there were literally no jobs left. And they took them out into the suburbs, and we couldn't go out into the suburbs. What happened was the police wasn't killing us; they was pulling us over and giving us tickets to the point to where we couldn't afford to pay these tickets, and we lost our licenses, and we couldn't get out to where the actual good paying jobs was. And in Detroit, what was left over was little grocery stores, restaurants
Yeah,
that paid minimum wage, this, that, and other, and nobody could build and progress as a community.
yeah,
This is what America does. It's called white supremacy.
exactly.
You get what I'm saying? They constantly put black people in these positions. So you can't say that all black people are the same, right? Let's say it's all three of us living in an apartment building, okay?
Mm.
What's the odds of all three of us individually becoming successful for our families and building for ourselves?
Unless someone hits
You're
the
gonna catch
lottery.
that one. You're gonna catch that, but that's our hope and that's our dream. That's all that we live for. I got a couple extra dollars left. That's what's going on the lottery ticket. I don't have enough to build and save so I could get a business for myself. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I could buy this piece of land. You get what I'm saying? We living for the day. Black people constantly have to live for the day.
Yeah,
This is the positions that Black American, that's white supremacy. This is the positions that we all are put into constantly. It's a rotating circle, decade by decade. No matter how it may seem, it's always the same.
yeah. It's a very
Once we, as the 13%, can realize that, then we could rethink, we could regain and control ourselves and figure things out for ourselves. We about to get ready to go into a fucking fight. You in St. Louis? Where did you say that you was, Duke?
I live in Maryland, man.
So you already know what time it is down there.
Yeah.
I just talked to somebody from DC yesterday. He said that DC seemed like it's getting gentrified. How do you feel in the section where you are?
Yeah, it's basically getting. It's probably already happened. I live like a couple Latinos. You know, basically took over there to some old white folks. Yeah, it's just basically that. And I do see some black kids around, but it's not as you know. Yeah, just like it's a
I'm
very.
gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna tell you this. Where I work at, I work in, like I said, I'm in Detroit, and I work in the automotive industry. I'm working next to a fucking robot. So a robot, what 50 people do in 1 hour, a robot could do it in less than half an hour, the same amount. So we're getting to the point to where Black Americans, specifically on the labor force, are going to become irrelevant. They pushed us out of Harlem. They pushing us out of Detroit. They may push us out of St. Louis. They may push us out of Baltimore and DC. Where are they really shifting us
Well, the only good
beyond?
places is south. I hear there's still some good black stuff down there in the south, but even then, they just might just push us down to the sea at this point.
Oh, it's funny that you say that. White folk giving up the South?
Probably. Heck, they already I mean, in some cases, they're giving up their own neighborhoods. I mean, in some of
Remember,
those,
black people originate from throughout slavery. Black people originated through the South in America, and but we migrated. We ran up north when there was more opportunity for us up here. What we thought was free opportunity for us up north. Now, are you telling me that we are shifting back to
oh
the
yeah,
South?
there's a lot of people moving down to the south. So, it's happening.
Uh,
White folk happening too,
I
because
know at least 3 people that moved from Detroit to Phoenix.
sometimes the west or the south. I think it's going to be some more, in a couple more decades. But that's happening down to white folk too. Appalachia, you
Well,
think, oh,
people
there's
move from
like millions
Detroit.
of people there. There's like, oh my gosh,
People move
but
from Detroit to Phoenix, but ain't nobody moved from Phoenix to Detroit though.
yeah, that's true.
Nope,
But yeah, like I was going to
nope.
say, is that they're already, taking out their own citizens and such too. Because I remember there was a news report that, like, in some Asian communities, they're just like, they're not, their old like jobs and everything are slowly going away because their kids are going to college and going to those big businesses and everything. And I think last I checked, there was a huge protest of a stadium that was, I think, Philadelphia was going to do a stadium, like one of the sports teams were going to have it, and it was like right near Chinatown. They were going to take away like jobs, whatever, and it looks like it might still happen. And it just, yeah, they're just like they're
Well, I
cutting, they're
mean,
just they're wiping the board.
where are y'all? I don't know where you are politically, and Jay. I'm sorry, because like I said, I have been drinking, and I was watching Bad Blood. My theme, I want to say this. My theme is wrestling with racism. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and mass majority of my things is consistently exposing the injustices in professional wrestling with racism. But at the same time, once we get to talking wrestling, real life come in and you get to talking
Ask him
about
your Cody Rhodes question.
who, me? Me?
Yeah, ask Duke. See if he got an answer. What your Cody Rhodes question?
As far as his wife?
No, like what does he do compared to?
Okay, Duke.
Yeah.
And I'm not speaking experiences. I'm only speaking in ring. What is it that Cody Rhodes inside the ring? What is it that Rhodes can do inside the ring that Montez Ford can't do inside the ring?
Well, Cody has that. I think Montez Ford, great athlete, but can get very excited because I remember his U.S. Championship. cell match, and I'm like, he's good, but he was like all over the place. I'm like, he doesn't, you know, slow down a bit. I think Montez Ford can be that, but he needs to just like let the game come to him. And Cody took a long time to let the game come to him. He went some bumps and bruises.
Okay, I want you to think about what I'm saying though. I want you to. I'm not cutting you off for no reason. I get where you're going, and I get where your point on what you just said. To break that, I do want to say that maybe people get a little more excited in doing things because they want to step out and get noticed a lot more. And I don't mean a little, I mean a lot more. So Montez Ford may get overexcited because he's not being booked in a position like Cody Rhodes to do that, and he's just trying to do whatever he can to step into that position. Like, hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. But if given the opportunity,
I think he could
I believe
be
that Montez could do exactly what Cody is doing
yes, and probably a little
in
bit
the ring.
yes, and probably better at it. I mean, to me, him.
Jay, did you hear that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think give him the opportunity. He
That's
can
my point.
give him the real
That's my point.
opportunity and build him up. And hopefully they'll break up the Street
That's my
Profits
point.
too, because I'm tired of having tag teams break up for stupid reasons. Back in
The
wrestling,
problem with that is fucking Angelo Dawkins because
Dawkins is
Angelo
good.
I like Angelo Dawkins because Angelo Dawkins remind me of me.
Big dude who can just hit
He's
people.
more of me than fucking Montez.
Yeah, me too, man. And I think he's a former. I think he's like former like center, I think, or somewhat offensive lineman or something like that. So I mean,
Man, I had tears in my eyes after I seen what they did at WrestleMania last year when he fucking sacked Braun Strowman like that and hit that fucking splash and got the pin.
that was at WrestleMania 2 years ago.
And 2 years ago, and my thing is, those moments is not even supposed to hit people like that. But for the fact that it's so rare to see a nigga that look like me do that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Montez Ford is your average black man in which they expect you to look like and act like, and Angelo Dawkins is me.
I think he should be. Why not have them both go after? I mean, there's no rule for a tag team to go after singles championships. Why not have him beat like what? Screw it. Have him beat. If I was doing it, have Angelo Dawkins, and you know they actually go on singles run because they can't do it as a tag team. I don't know why, but I want not to have them go after
Dude,
first.
I got another question. And Jay, because that I know that you went with the Cody question, but I think this is the most important question that I asked that I believe that no one else asked in the wrestling community. Can multiple black Americans be
At the
successful
same time.
separated
Yes, but you have
at the
to.
same time?
But
At the same time.
but it has to be.
Let me just real quick. If Trick Williams, Wesley, and Obafemi was to come up on the roster today,
Mm,
can you still give them the
no, you can't.
equal success but separate on top of Carmelo Hayes, Montez Ford, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Lash Legend, Naomi? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think so now. It's the really messed up part is I don't know. You can. Me personally, I wish if I was had the booking thing, I actually would have. Um, Me personally, I wish that if I had the power, I would
Is
have.
that being biased? Is that being
No,
biased,
I want.
or am I recognizing their talent
They're
and
talented.
thinking that they should be in these positions?
Yes, they should be. In fact, it is basically. I feel like it's just like they're going through their crime time era. If you remember, crime time, they were number one contenders and never got a championship match. And when they do, they lost. And I'm like, the crowd was begging JTG and Shaq to get the championships. They were like ravenous for them, but they didn't. And then they broke them up, and JTG survived for years and years, and they came back and You don't know what happened, Shaq.
No, he
Now,
didn't survive years and years.
he was a
No,
jobber. He
when they
was a
broke
jobber.
up, no,
He was a
they
jobber.
never had individual. Yeah, he was a jobber, but they never had individual success.
Yeah.
This is what you relied on them for.
Yeah, that's what it is. And you look at what happened with Sheldon. I honestly, I felt like if I saw Vince during that whole big moment, I would have jumped him and knocked him out because that is one of the most. I felt like that was the most racist thing they ever did. And I mean, this is like WWE.
My thing with Shelton is I understand where people come from, where he can't talk, but you know what? And you know what? I'm gonna give you the perfect example. And I don't think you was
Jack
up here,
Swagger.
but oh my god, I don't
Oh
think you
my
was up
God.
here. Fuck. You just making it even worse. I don't even think I was up here. I don't think you was up here when I said this, but I delineate. So like I think you was I think we just talked about it. Africans don't like us. You recognize that there is a
Ooh.
cultural difference between Caribbeans and Americans and shit like that, right? So Bobby Lashley is a Hispanic. He's a Panamanian, okay? But his dark skin shows you and would have you the illusion that he's us, right?
Mm.
He's a black American.
I always thought he was
That's what
black.
the illusion would have. Huh?
I always thought Bobby was black, man.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I'm saying? Same thing with Big E. He's a Jamaican and Monstarian. He's not a black American. Like I said, no disrespect to them, and they have never shown disrespect to us. But at the end of the day, like um Kendrick Lamar said, they not like us. This is the year of delineation. Kamala Harris is an Indian who Indian people hate you. You go into their stores and they're going to call you a nigger. And Jamaican people don't necessarily be in our favor either, right? This is the people that they present. So with me saying that, I'm looking at the successes of these people, and they want us to latch on to their successes. But when I look at Black Americans and I look at Booker T, that's the only person we could go to.
Mark Henry.
mm.
I, well, I look at the
Uh,
successes of Mark Henry, and Mark Henry shit came in spurts. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And was he over? Did he truly overcome? Or
It was
did we look at
recency
his one
bias.
title reign and say, did we look at his only title reign and say we satisfied? We
Well, he
content.
had two title reigns. Remember that ECW one? I know what ECW
Come
was
on, bro.
dead,
Come
but
on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on. Work with me. We not counting that shit. Work with me.
all right, all
I
right.
went to I was there. I'm gonna tell you, I was there during ECW. That shit came on after SmackDown tapings, and half the arena left. So stop playing with me. Come on now.
All right, all right. Hmm. But yeah, it's
But no,
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Mark Henry never had no tangibles. That's the word that I use. It's nothing tangible. So my point in that is, white folk would tell me, "Oh, nigger, Kofi Kingston held the WWE Championship." So they hate it when I say, "Okay, cool." And listen, I'm realistic. He lost to Brock Lesnar in the way that he did. I expect him to. Okay, I'm realistic on that. They never made Kofi Kingston a contender again. Not only did they never make him a contender again, they never made him champion again. What the fuck am I supposed to be satisfied about? Randy Orton is a 14-time champion. John Cena is a 15-time champion. They have opportunities to get that route. Do Bianca Belair have the opportunity, even though in the ring she's greater than Charlotte Flair? And we understand why Charlotte Flair is getting these. And I'm not taking nothing away from Charlotte. Charlotte was the best in the world at the time for women. Is Bianca Belair ever going to get the opportunity to be a 5, 6, 10-time women's champion?
Nope.
It's sad. That's the worst thing about this is that what is Bianca and Jade?
I just to let you know real quick, I separate Charlotte Flair from Ric Flair. If Charlotte Flair was never Ric Flair's daughter, if she worked the way that she did, I'll give Charlotte her credit. With that being said, can Bianca achieve the same shit?
No, I honestly say no, and the reason why is that look at what she's doing now. slumming it with Jake. I'm like, I forgot. Like, wait, who's the woman? I'm like, how can I forget about Bianca Belair and Jay Cargill? They were presented as these big stars when Jay was AEW. Like, oh, we got she's a star, whatever. Then they WWE probably, oh my god, big star. They got the card and everything, and I'm like, and then they just faded away into irrelevancy. I mean,
Man,
could you imagine
oh man, listen,
telling
bro.
Bianca and
If you did
Jay?
not sign up to, if you did not subscribe to Wrestling with Racism on YouTube, subscribe. Listen, let me tell you something. What you just said right now with Jay Cargill and Bianca Belair, people will call me racist and they may call me anti-black because I'm recognizing the difference. Remember, Jay Cargill is a Jamaican, 100%. I'm being serious when I talk about the system of white supremacy because the system of white supremacy will utilize other black people to undermine black Americans specifically. And what you just said, and we know that Jade Cargill is not nowhere near even like, let's say, better than Bailey. Which, by the way, Nia Jax, that's my bitch. Y'all leave her alone.
Oh, she was great.
She's supposed to be unconventional. That's what I love about Nia Jax. She make wrestling look real. You know what I'm saying? That's a big bitch. She's supposed to fucking fall on your face and make it look like it hurt, and you supposed to be hurt for real, bitch. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, honestly, she Piper Niven. I would actually just have her just basically just. I'm like, why haven't they just have her be like destroy people and everything? I just
Hey,
like,
hey,
That's what the fuck she's supposed to
hey,
do.
yes, that's what she did.
you be doing your research, man. She is Jamaican.
Yeah,
I do my research, nigga. This is what I do. Wrestling with racism.
this man,
Subscribe.
this man is good, by the way, and I love that. And yeah, I always look at the situations about this, and ooh, man, I have to go now because I have to do some other
That's why I'm
stuff,
glad
man.
that I came upon y'all. That's why I'm glad that I came upon y'all
Yeah,
because that's why I cut you off the last time. I lost myself. You got to remember too. I'm in my mode now, but
I get
I
that
cut
too,
you off
man.
the
Don't
last
worry.
time. Yeah, I cut you off the last time because you said certain things. You got to remember, I get into it with people online about this stuff, black people, because you said certain things that black people tend to overlook. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know that there's a problem, but a lot of people will overlook it because they got a title around their waist.
Yeah.
You recognize that Jade Cargill, that Bianca Belair is holding Jade Cargill hand to get to a point. Do they have white folk holding white folk hand to get to a point, or do they send them down to NXT?
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Blade, look him up if you never heard about him. He's been at NXT level up for, oh, you know what? Perfect example as to why they can't have multiple black people successful at the same time, right? Trick Williams was the NXT champion, right? And
Hmm.
he's the NXT champion now, but they kind of kept him up in the higher ranks of NXT, right?
Yes.
But, but they exposed us to Javon Evans. And Javon Evans may be the hottest new talent that all of us have seen. Like, he's unique in a lot of different ways. He
He's
make
get
cruiserweight look acceptable now, right?
he's getting a match with Randy Orton. So WWE is hurt.
Javon Evans to me is better than, and this is not me being racist. Javon Evans high flying to me is better than Will Ospreay.
Well, and remember he's still young, and I think
Yep.
and he can improve. Or you know,
The point in wrestling is anybody can do anything is based off of how you book them.
yeah,
That's my point. Cody
yeah.
Rhodes, my whole point in saying Montez Ford, Cody Rhodes can't do nothing that Montez Ford can't do if given the position.
Yeah, man.
Javon Evans, since we understand that he can get it, If Triple H could sit down and tell him, listen, you do this, this, and you do it this way, you're going to be successful. He's going to be able to do that.
Or he gets released a year later when WWE do budget cuts. He'll be on Ring of Honor for 6 months, and no one will care.
Because of the color of his skin. Like I said about Bianca Belair, white folk would justify Bianca Belair being released 2 years from now because the WWE have not put the effort behind changing her gimmick, not one time.
Well,
Well, that's the real sad truth, man. That's
Now we
ooh.
know that Bianca Belair inside that ring. I don't know if Duke, you was up here or not, but we recognize that Bianca Belair is as natural as Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, she's great. There's nothing else there.
Yeah,
I honestly thought that her
but
being in the tag division would actually do the same thing when she was a champion of Raw and SmackDown. So to elevate the belts, to make them to be the premier belts that they should be. Instead, it's just the way that she's been booked, like you said, to be
let me
irrelevant.
put this in perspective. Let me put this in perspective for you. Kurt Angle attracted me when I first started watching wrestling for real. The first couple of years that I first started watching wrestling, Kurt Angle attracted me for a lifetime. And I'm talking about as a wrestling fan. Not as a racist or none of this other different shit. Kurt Angle attracted me because when I first started watching wrestling, he was a dork. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
That's what attracted me. When you think of Kurt Angle, do you think about dork Kurt Angle or do you think about his overall career?
His overall career. In fact, he had the best rookie year of all time.
And it's funny that you said that because his very first year, he was a dork. After that, he was a fucking savior. He was a white savior for the WWF on the invasion shit. After that, he was a fucking mix between the dork and the motherfucking savior. After that, he was known as a wrestling god. After that, he was known after this. They elevated Kurt Angle into so many different levels. He was Kurt Angle, but they
they had
elevated
so many
him
different
into so
versions of
many
them.
different levels. Huh?
So many different versions of them.
So many different versions of him that you couldn't hate Kurt Angle in no instance.
And
They're not doing that with Bianca Belair. She's constantly coming out, shaking her hair, and that was cool for us because hey, we've been waiting to see some shit like that. But now, damn it, what are you going to do to make her be like, I want to see her hold this title for the sixth time, and I want to see her hold the title for the ninth time, and I want to see her hold the title for the 11th time. They're not doing a single thing to elevate them. Our truth, case in point, Miz changed several times over the years. Our truth been the same. Stop playing with me.
well,
Well, he
you
had
ain't
that
lying.
heel run. He had that heel run, back in
And
2011.
then
I was at
And
that
that was
show.
supposed to get him, and that was supposed to, I would have been most satisfied if they had actually gave him the WWF championship because he took the opportunity that was given. Our truth took the opportunity that was given to him and showed you that he wasn't this ignorant nigger. And they still, not only did they show you that he was the ignorant nigger, they made him the most ignorant of them all. Our truth can perform, but this is what they portray him as.
Yeah, it's
What man have you seen come out there and say, fuck you, bitch, I'm about to smoke my motherfucking cigarette?
mm,
yeah,
Nigga, on national TV, bitch, I'm about to smoke this. What you about to do? And I'm about to kick John Cena ass tonight. That was
yeah.
refreshing to me. And then they fucked it up.
And they ruined not just that, but also wasn't it during the Nexus thing too, or was it like after? Oh, it was after. Gosh, everything was terrible during that time. We had him winning the title, and then CM Punk the whole summer of fail, and then bleh, nothing. Just a terrible thing. It's a
I'm a
shame.
wrestling historian. I'm a wrestling historian, and I don't know what you're talking about. That is a problem.
Oh,
No, I'm
it's
serious.
I remember this. The curse.
I'm not saying what you was against. I'm saying that's a problem to me for the fact that me as a wrestling fan that could tell you what happened with Matt Hardy and fucking S.A. Rios. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Can't remember what the hell you just said right
That's
then
what's
and
up. That's
there.
what so many
And it
people
was
were tuning out, man.
it's a problem.
I there's
That's
a
what I'm
reason
saying.
why
Hold
I
on,
got like
he's not talking right now. But that's when he was tuning out too. He stopped watching wrestling for a while around that time.
I got floor side seats for $100 for that show of Capital Punishment. They were
Wow.
WWE
I'll
was
be damned
desperate.
if I pay $400 for a seat for the same seat. Nah, shit.
Hey, I got a good
And you
deal.
wouldn't.
Hey, I got good deals by the way. You gotta look for those good deals, though.
I know them tickets in Atlanta were expensive as fuck tonight.
Mm.
Man, fuck that. For fucking SmackDown, it's $1,000 to get on that chair, on that seat.
Shit. Anyway, I gotta go now. I have to do some stuff. It's great talking to you. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna go and subscribe to
Hey,
Wrestling and
who is
Racism,
this?
man.
Who is this dude?
Duke.
Is this Duke?
Yeah. Yes, man.
Real quick, before you go. Real quick, before you go.
Yes.
Um. Oh shit! I forgot my question just that quick, and I had it in my head for the last few minutes. Hold on.
No worries. No
um.
worries. No
Real
worries.
quick. Okay. I got it. I got it. Real quick before you go. Can
Mm.
you admit? First of all, are you a Black American?
Oh yes, 100%.
So you're not African or Jamaican or none of that shit.
No,
As
no,
they say
no,
we are.
no, no, no.
Okay. So with that being said, can you admit that we are an exceptional people as far as and when it comes down to entertainment?
Oh
We are the most
yes.
athletic, entertaining, charismatic people in the world, right?
Oh, when we get the opportunity, we'll not just daze you with our brilliance, but also, you know, we
Well,
will show you brilliance in many other
let's look
ways,
through our
man.
history. Let's look through our history. Let's look through music. We created country. We created jazz. We created rock and roll. You know, even when they tried to fuck it up, okay, y'all want to take rock and roll? We could make R&B. We can make hip hop, and yet they got a stranglehold over that, right?
Yeah, and heck,
My
every
point.
time we got
My point.
doctors and scientists. Last I saw, at least a black woman actually is coming up with something that actually take down blood cancers and such like that. With lasers and everything, it is actually getting pretty
I
well.
was
So
about to beat my cousin ass this morning because we had an argument about Jack Daniels. A black man had the recipe for Jack Daniels, but a white man, was able to patent. So my point in saying all of this is we can recognize that we are an exceptional people around the world. So why is it that we can't be an exceptional people in the fake scripted sport?
the reason is
So
because
my
we don't
point is
own anything. We don't own that thing and that process and such. We don't own the means
okay.
to it. So you
Now,
know,
with that being said, because we went through a cycle with you being here. With that being said, I posed the question: if I were to start a promotion that's black owned and operated, how quickly will white folk hit that discrimination on litigation? How quickly would they hit that discrimination against us?
well, I know a couple black wrestling organizations around my way. Fight Pro, and they're doing pretty well. ASC is doing pretty well as well. Um,
ASC is doing pretty well.
and Fight Pro. In fact, I think that's the first time I saw Willow Nightingale, Trisha Dora, you know, and I think Suge D is their champion right now, and they're probably
Wait
going
a
to
minute. Hold it.
Trisha Dora.
Because you said something interesting. Trisha Dora is African, and just to pull your ear, because like I said, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Wrestling with Racism, I explain the importance of delineation. I know that people would tell you that Willow Nightingale is black, right?
mm,
But she's actually Guyanese and white. Her father is white, her mother is Guyanese. And I don't know, like I said, wherever you say you from, I'm pretty sure you can't walk outside and see any Guyanese person. And they're going to take that Guyanese person and say that you're black because it's a melanated skin color on most of them and apply that her success to you.
mm,
I'm saying stop accepting that because it's not you. Okay?
mm,
And when you say Trisha Dora is some type of African.
mm,
Okay? So when you name these people and you look at their successes and you attribute it to skin color, I'm telling you to attribute it to ethnicity. It's a difference. We're not the same.
mm,
And they're going to use those people to tell you that we are the same. At the same time, we are still left on the absolute bottom of everything. They're pushing Jade Cargill, who's a Jamaican, via Bianca Belair, who's a Southern Black American woman. Over the last 4 years, we've been able to say Bianca Belair is this. But eventually, we're going to move on and say that Bianca Belair is that. Are you going to let a Jamaican person who doesn't necessarily, and I'm not saying this against Jay Cargill specifically, but a Jamaican who doesn't necessarily respect you as a Black American to represent you as a person?
mm.
Simone Biles, she beat Jamaican women in the Olympics. It's a difference. Shakara Richardson, she beat Jamaicans in races. It's a difference. You understand?
Yes, yes.
So once we look at that and we look at the state of the WWE as to where they want us to rely on a Black American woman to skate us through relying on a Jamaican woman. At the same time, Obafemi is coming up. At the same time, they want Omos to come up. At the same time, they got Big E, who is a Jamaican and Monstarian, coming up. At the same time, they got Kofi Kingston coming up. At the same time, Montez Ford is declining. At the same time, Bianca Belair is stagnant. And then that's our only reliability.
Mm,
And Swerve. In essence, Bianca Belair and Swerve is our only representation to say that the WWE and AEW aren't racist organizations.
mm,
White, a lot of people didn't find out that Mercedes Monet or Sasha Banks was black until Michael Cole said that she was black. And what happened was white folk took that and said, oh, Sasha Banks is a black woman. So any success that she has is accredited towards us. They never take accountability for themselves, right?
mm.
Yeah, yeah, because
They are.
because she is technically half white, but they don't. They ain't gonna view her
They won't
success
they
as
they
white
won't
folks'
never tell you
success.
that.
Mm,
Except if you look at your aunties, and I don't know you and I don't know your family. Except if you look at your aunties, can you tell me that she act like your aunties?
well. Mm,
Do she act like your cousins? She didn't even marry a Black American man. And to take it even further than that, her father is a Black American man. Her father is Snoop Dogg's mother brother, right?
Yeah,
This is what they're
mm,
going to tell you. This is what they're going to tell you. Yet, her Black American father, Snoop Dogg's mother brother, ran off on Mercedes Monet, Sasha Banks, this black woman. And she was raised by her white mother in white society. But for the simple fact that her father is black, who she rarely interacted with, she's a black woman. And I'm supposed to take her success and accredit it to me.
Or to say her success is the same as Bianca Belair's success. It was raised
Yeah,
You
by
know
it
what I'm
is
it
saying?
just
was raised
all.
by two black parents. So
You
Mm,
know what I'm saying?
I can get
Two
yeah,
niggers, because they not gonna look at her mother as a nigger, obviously because her mother is white. But they're not gonna look at her father as a nigger because she's related to Snoop Dogg. And remember, Snoop Dogg is
yeah,
America's nigger. Remember, Snoop Dogg whole thing is smoking weed. And that's what made him cool. Pay attention. Snoop Dogg ain't no gangster. He's an artist since 1993.
yeah. That's what it is, man.
you get
Anyway,
deep in it,
great
man.
talking to get deep in all
I'm
this
real,
stuff,
man. I
man.
can't help, man.
Yeah, this is
I
beautiful,
can't help.
man. I mean, that's what it is at
But
the
it's
end of the
not
day.
just that. It's not just that. Y'all could say whatever y'all want, but spread the fucking word. It's a
That's
problem.
all. That's what we tried to do, man. Anyway, I gotta head out. Love just the conversation, man.
I
Everything else,
appreciate you
and
joining
I'll
in,
talk
dude.
y'all later. I'll see y'all later, man. And peace, man. I already followed you, HK.
Most
Non-president,
definitely. I'll
man. I
keep in
followed you.
touch.
I
All
don't
right,
know,
peace.
I
hey
got
Jamal. I don't
listen.
know if
One
you
more
got
thing.
anything
One
to
more
say,
thing. One more
Jamal.
thing. One more thing. I got a you. I got a. Just check out my link tree. I got a Facebook group that I'm starting, and it's hard for me to navigate Facebook. I haven't been through that in a minute. But
Me
join that
too.
group. Join that group. Just answer the questions. But don't join the group if you are going to be on some coon shit of, oh, I'm tired of y'all talking about this. I'm trying to start this group, and it's for Black Americans only. No Africans or Jamaicans, none of that shit. Answer the questions, join the group, I'll accept you, and then we could talk about anything. It doesn't matter if it's wrestling related or not. Just do not be a coon. That's
No
all I ask.
worries. No worries, man. All right, I'll see you later. All right.
Got you. All right. Sorry about that, Jay, man, but
No, I was trying to see if
that's what I do.
I'm trying to see if my
Huh?
boy Jamal gonna talk or not because he's still on listen mode. But because he kind of talks about some stuff like this sometimes too, though. But
Well, let me get to know the host. Let me get to know you. How do you feel about any of this stuff?
oh no, Jamal, he don't know. But
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. No, I'm saying, how do you feel about some of this stuff?
I mean,
Because,
you gave me some perspective on stuff that I didn't know. Because a lot of these people that you were saying of different cultures, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know. So I've been educated tonight. So I appreciate that.
well, like I said, it's a problem to me, and people will call me um whatever, racist or xenophobic or whatever. But when I get down to, but it's based off of the specifics. I don't have no problem with any other black person, but when I look and see that my particular black people are being exited out, then that becomes a problem with me, and I think anybody will feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Obafemi may be the best thing that come out of NXT, but at the same time, we are not the same. And he may not tell you on the open platform, but I will.
All right. What
That's
about you,
enough.
Jamal? You got any thoughts?
No, I mean I tuned in late, so I kind of tuned into the deep end there. But I get his point. I absolutely understand his point, and he's not wrong. There is a cultural difference. We saw that with what is it that the podcast dudes that was on the Andrew Schultz thing, and then people threw a fit about him because Andrew Schultz made some comment about black women or whatever, and it's like, I mean, they're from Britain, like, so there's not going to be a connection there for them because, like you said, like, and this is a very nuanced discussion, and I
That's why I said
prefer,
2024 is later than
yeah,
relation.
I prefer, I want unity for all of us, but to be realistic, the people that he's talking about, they're able to play in that lane, right? Where it's like I could be black when it's convenient for me, but I can also go the other way and be like, nah, well, I'm not really black. Um,
The Rock.
Ethiopian.
The Rock.
Jamal, I'm not, dude. Jamal, I'm just, oh God, you hitting it on a good level.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning blackness,
No, I get your
but I
point.
do question. No, no, no. I do question how do people describe black?
Hmm.
Because, like I said, we are melanated people, but like you recognize, and I think this is where people get it confused. It is a cultural difference.
Absolutely.
We were robbed out of the opportunity of learning about Africa, completely. So you got to know
Mhm.
when we were slaves, when people talk about slavery and shit like that, within 100 years of slavery, black people in America didn't even know that Africa existed for the simple fact that cultural existence was stripped and stolen away,
Mhm.
for the fact that we did not have the ability to learn, read, or write. We didn't realize that Africa existed until after slavery. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And slavery lasted for 300 years. That's a long ass time.
Institutionalized slavery. I mean,
Institutional.
it's definitely lasted beyond that, but
Yes.
institutionally, I get you. We're on the same page.
But what we did, since you get that, what we did is we created our own culture in every way, from the way that we talk, to the way that we act, to the way that we walk. And mind you, they tell us in every instance that it's negative. So it's a connotation behind everything that we do.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, we do it, right?
Absolutely.
Whether society see it if it's right or wrong. So it is a cultural difference. Yet we are labeled racist for distinguishing that difference. Okay, I'm not in tune with Africa. Nigga, what the fuck is you about to tell me about Africa that's gonna make me want to move to Africa? I created this shit. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's things that the temptations can do. You
I
understand?
get you.
That five people from Africa probably can't emulate if they tried. And they have. You know what I'm saying? So it is a difference. My problem is white folk delineate. They would tell you in the instance that Italian people aren't white.
Yep.
They would tell you in the instance that Polish people aren't white. And if you've been keeping up lately, white folk would tell you that these people in Israel, these white so-called Jewish people, aren't white.
No, but
I
it's
get you.
it's the same. It's the same sort of situation where, again, they will claim you as that when it's convenient, right? So
Yes.
slavery ends, and black people are the ones with the skills because we was the one working the fields. We was the one doing all the work in the house. We were the iron. We were the blacksmiths. We did all that. So when the expansion goes west, And everybody thinks Lincoln freed the slaves. Great, great. No, he was saving jobs for white people. That's what he was doing. Because if we
He was
all went
creating
black,
opportunities for them.
right? Because if we all went west, we'd have all the jobs because we got all the skills, and they wouldn't have anything.
They wouldn't have
That's what
anything.
that was about.
We
So
just took over everything.
we would have took over everything. We would have took over everything. So that's we have the school, we have that talent, but when that happens, they have to bring in more people. So, like you said, the Italians. I've had this argument with people before, where they were like, well, I'm Irish. We were enslaved too. Yeah,
Irish
but
people came over to America and became cops and they killed us, which assimilated them into whites.
y'all, they were enslaved. But guess what? When they needed your numbers, they said, "Oh, you're one of us. You're white." The Italians, same thing. It's all the
You
same.
got
They
any kids?
all
You got any kids? You got any
yes,
kids?
yes. I'm a new father actually.
Good. And it's good that you knew because you can instill these things to them now because society say that the things that we know are not supposed to be instilled into our children. These people are taking the things that we are talking about right now, they're taking them out of schools at this second.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They're trying to take all of that stuff out of schools. I mean, we
Once
see
our
this.
generation is dead and gone, America got black people minds exactly where they want it to be. All the shit that I could talk to you about right now, my sons at 9 and 11 will not understand because when they go to school, the white kids that's in that school is not going to show them what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
absolutely.
But as they get older, they're going to understand the difference. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Since they don't see it, they don't understand it, and they don't believe it, and they don't will not recognize how to operate, how to move. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and we have to teach people, and we have to teach our kids, man. Like it's
A
good
lot
to
of us
learn.
don't have the same understanding either.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so much that we aren't.
We wouldn't if us if enough if more than enough of us had the understanding of what we talking about right now. Then, to be honest with you, be to show you how exceptional Black Americans will be, if enough of us had the understanding, then this wouldn't be a conversation at this second. We would be talking about WWE Bad Blood
Yeah.
and how Carmelo Hayes defended his WWE championship or some shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
HBK for 100.
Just HBK.
All right. Ask him the question about Cody Rhodes.
Oh damn, this is a new person. My bad. All
Nah, he
right.
been hopping in
he
and out, my boy Adam.
Jamal already on point. Adam I don't care about, but
No, Adam cool,
Jamal
man.
Jamal already, huh?
Adam cool, man. Hey,
Huh?
don't be dissing Adam. He cool, man.
No, see that's the problem right there, man. Listen, I'm not gonna be disrespectful to your space. Hi, Adam. How are ya?
Hey, man.
I don't know what to say. I don't. Hi, Adam. Hi. How are ya?
Uh, don't be
Let me put
disrespectful.
my chicken away. I can't eat chicken right now. I'm talking to Adam.
Hey, man.
To
Calm
put
down.
mine away too. As soon as you started talking, I said I got to put this jerk chicken away.
Man,
You
what?
gonna go through the
Oh
phone.
yeah, the jerk chicken. You better put. Niggas don't eat jerk chicken. Where you from, nigga?
Oh, I'm right outside. I'm in the suburbs of Chicago.
Is you a Black American?
Yes.
You Haitian,
No. Black. Black. Black.
Caribbean?
Black mom.
What you
Black
eating
dad.
jerk chicken from? What you eating jerk chicken? Where that shit? Your mama ain't never made no jerk chicken. Where the fuck you get that from?
My mom has made jerk chicken, but she was a teacher, so she worked with a lot of different people from different cultures and whatnot.
I know,
But
and I'm getting my biases. Like I said, I listen. I haven't been to New York, but I've been through Florida, and Florida is no, from what I've witnessed, there's no Black Americans down there at all. But it's a lot of Jay Gargills. There's a lot of Jamaicans. There's a lot of Haitians and stuff down there.
yeah.
And like I said,
Mhm.
that's how I know they don't necessarily care for us, despite how much they make cosplay. Um, just from talking to these people personally. But like I said, it's just certain things that people just don't do. Niggas don't make jerk chicken.
No, no, I don't.
Niggas don't make
I don't. But my
Uh,
my cousin, my cousin
Man, you
lives
made Adam
just about.
leave, man.
fuck him. Listen, man, I'm not anti-white, but I'm talking to y'all, man. I'm not trying to explain nothing to white people. The reason why I'm not, and I'm being serious. I'm being dead serious because this is why. I'm gonna get personal with y'all on the level to where y'all might know. Because it's people like that that will be accepted.
We here at Rasslin with Racism would like to thank each and every single American Negro for checking out this program. Please, feel free to leave your comments below. And if you are not subscribed, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share to every single American Negro that you know, whether they are wrestling fans or not. In the meantime, be sure to take care of yourself as an individual and take care of one another as family, as our ancestor, Frankie Beverly, stated plainly.
We are one. No matter what we do, we are one. God will see us through, we are one. And that's the way it is.
We hope that you enjoyed Wrestling with Racism, and we encourage you all to leave a comment below letting us know what you felt about this particular program and the program overall. And if you are an American Negro and you are not subscribed to Wrestling with Racism, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they are a wrestling fan or not. You may also check us out and subscribe, follow on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, and at Non-Crackers at Al on Twitter X for more white truths.
How's it going?
Thank you for tuning in and have a great week.